take off-road racing to the masses. The results?
One of the most sophisticated forms of motorsports racing there is. I mean, $250,000 to build a car, 20 inches of wheel travel, 45 degrees of steering angle. We can hit bumps out there that are 4 and 5 feet tall, and the cars hardly move.
The performance of the truck, the computers, the technology, the suspension. I've told this story before that had the race cars handled today like they did 15 years ago, Ivan Stewart, believe me, Walker Evans, some of the veterans would not be doing this.
Welcome to the start of the 15th season of Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. It's next on ESPN. You're looking at the remains of when the earth shook Southern California just a few weeks ago. We're at the Big A in Anaheim, California. We're a little late getting the 1994 season started, but we're here for round number 1 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and yes, 10,000 seats short, but we are finally getting ready to kick off the 1994 season. The first of 8 races you'll see here on ESPN Speed World. A championship will be decided in Grand National Sport Trucks. Can Rod Millen make it 3 in a row? It's never been done before in the Drivers' Championship. And can Toyota win an unprecedented 11th manufacturer's crown in 12 years? Ford and Chevy obviously say no way. We've got some changes up in the broadcast booth as well. Coming out from behind the wheel and into the booth is Walker Evans, the living legend at age 54, sort of pulling back the career a little bit. I'm glad to have you up here, but I'm sure it's got to be a little bit of a bittersweet moment. You've been here since the very first Mickey Thompson race, competing.
Well, I certainly have. Yeah, I've got mixed emotions, but after all, it's going to be great working with you, Marty, and I know each and every one of these drivers, and I'll tell you right now, we'll have some good comments about them.
Well, tell me what they're thinking about. It's a clean slate for 1994.
Well, each and every one of them have to get off to a good start. Certainly, they're all working for the #1 plate. They're working for the Manufacturers' Cup. So right now, you got to get a good start in the round 1, and that's where it all comes together.
Man working in the pits with us this year, a newcomer to the team as well. He'll be with us for all 8 rounds. He's with the #1 qualifier. It's Mike Anson. Mike?
All right, we're in the pits at the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series. This is the kickoff race of the 1994 season. With me, Rob MacCachren, who set quick time, the fastest qualifier today. And Rob, what's your prize for winning quick time?
Well, the way MTG works, it is the fast qualifier has to start at the back of the heat in the first heat race. And the second heat race, if I have more points, I'll start in the back again. The main event, the most points that I have, I'll get to start in front. So we'll put the Ford Ranger on the front row for the main event.
All right, what about getting through that traffic? Can you do it? Is there room out there on the track?
Well, the track here at Anaheim is a really good track, and there's an option that we have to go through. I think I'm going to work my way up through, maybe go for a 3rd, 2nd place finish, try to win. Mainly we're in it for the points right now and get the most points for the main event.
All right, it's the kickoff race of the season. I can't wait to get started. Let's roll them off.
Well, it is a crystal clear night in California. In fact, it's a little too clear. There are no clouds to keep the temperature up. It's 50 degrees. I know anybody back in the east where it's been like 27 below will not be sympathetic. 23% humidity, and the winds is what's really making it brisk. Out of the southwest at 18 miles an hour. In fact, some of those gusts today with the Santa Anas in the area got up to around 30, 35, and it was a little breezy there for a while.
While we got a moment, let's take a lap around this course with Ivan, the Iron Man. This Toyota is coming out of the corner, accelerating very, very good. It looks good down through this, what we call the mogul section. Hard right-hand turn coming up here. Great job. The double-doubles. Right-hand turn at the immediate at the end of them. Good job navigating that corner. This is probably one of the highest part speeds of this track. This is a straightaway, and you land almost right on top of this other one. You see that coming up, and that's 1 lap at Anaheim. Great job.
I would say shocks are 75% of the teamwork. If you're not able to get the traction to the ground or get over the bumps, a motor is useless. You need to get the horsepower to the ground. You need to be able to get over the obstacles so you can use the motor. The beauty of these Rancher shocks is they're adjustable. So as we go into different stadiums, there's different dirt compounds, different track roughness, and all these different things, so we can dial it in for each specific track. And as the night goes on, everything changes, moisture, roughness. So the beauty is we can dial the shocks in softer or stiffer in compression or rebound, so you're ready for the main event.
That's great. Here we are in the Toyota pit. The Toyotas have always been powerful, the ones to beat. Ivan, I want to know, what's new for Toyota for stadium off-road racing?
Well, I tell you, Walker, we've had some changes in that they've added some weight to us. And the majority of our work we've done has been 3 or 4 months ago, because as you know, we built a new desert truck. We've been testing that a lot. The majority of the work that we've done on the stadium trucks has been done just about 2 or 3 months ago. We worked around the weight. We've done some engine development work, but mainly we worked on how can we get this truck around the corners with the amount of weight that they've had to add to us. So we're working on that. We feel pretty good. We may have to work a little bit more. It looks like lap times are down a tad, but we're looking pretty good. I don't feel bad.
You'll be right there.
Heat race number 2 in Grand National Sport Trucks was a thriller. Rod Millen, starting in row number 2, follows Jimmy Johnson through the first couple of laps, keeping the pressure on the 18-year-old youngster. Remember, this is only his 3rd Grand National Sport Truck race. It finally got to him, the pressure that is, as Rod Millen takes advantage of one of Jimmy's small mistakes to get around him for the lead. In fact, Jimmy would end up backing up until 5th place for his final finishing position. Roger Mears Jr. was running a strong race, but he fell out of contention, running 3rd at the time with 2 laps remaining. The motor just gave up. It was then Ivan Stewart moving into 2nd place. He would manage to hold on to that position behind his teammate Rod Millen, as it would be a Toyota sweep, 1st and 2nd, with Rob MacCachren coming home 3rd in the Ford.
We're down in the pits with Steve Millen. He is here rooting for his baby brother, Rod Millen, who just won a heat race and is about to go out there in the final. You're here, big news for you as well. Winner of the 24 Hours of Daytona just recently.
That's right, Mike. The Nissan was just fantastic down there. We had a trouble-free run for 24 hours. Never even lifted the hood. But it's good to be here tonight at Anaheim and to root for Rodney. I wish I was racing against him, actually.
Now, what kind of speeds were you getting at Daytona? I understand you had the fastest car down there.
You know, twice a lap at Daytona, after you come out of the infield and before you go on the chicane, you do 185 mile an hour. So, and you're doing that all day long, and it says a heck of a lot for the Yokohama tires and the Nissan 300Z.
All right, well, let's wish your baby brother the best, and let's send it back up to the booth.
Marty Reed and Walker Evans back with you at Anaheim Stadium, the Big A in Anaheim, California, and we are getting ready now for the main event in Grand National Sport Trucks. So far, Toyota has won both heat races. Ivan Stewart in the 1st, Rod Millen in the 2nd. Does that necessarily mean it's going to be another Toyota finale?
Well, definitely they flexed their muscles. Believe me, they're showing some power. But also, you got to look for Rob MacCachren. He's got some power. He qualified on the pole, and don't forget that.
Well, the one thing that strikes me about MacCachren is in the 1st heat race, it seemed like he couldn't find his way through the traffic. In the 2nd heat race, all of a sudden, he got the bit between his teeth.
Well, I totally agree. He did look like he was hunting and pecking, but in the 2nd heat race, he took off. Matter of fact, he was a contender to win the 2nd heat race against Millen.
Fasten your seatbelts. We're ready to go racing. We're ready for the main event now in Grand National Sport Truck action, round number 1 here at Anaheim Stadium at the Big A. Temperature in the 50s, but the temperature on the track is extremely hot. Points are what we're talking about here. Let's take a look at the starting grid. In the front row, it'll be Rick Johnson alongside of Roger Mears. Then Danny Thompson in the Ford alongside the Toyota of Rod Millen. Rob MacCachren in the other Ford against the other Toyota, Ivan Stewart in row 3. Then Roger Mears Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, a Nissan and a Chevrolet, round out our 8-vehicle field. Stand by for action. We're ready to go in Grand National Sport Trucks. You want to pick a winner, Walker?
Well, that's going to be tough, I'll tell you right now. I want to see Rob MacCachren. I think he can come in there good. Look where he's at.
I think Rob MacCachren is the man. He's in front of both the Toyotas.
Well.
And he just hung himself on the hydro barrier.
Yep.
Took the corner too closely. He gets nailed into the hydro barrier. Another unfortunate mistake for Rob MacCachren. He now finds himself next to last. It opens the door for Rick Johnson. Remember now, he won here last year in the mud at Anaheim. It was a torrential downpour. 50,000 fans braved the elements, and they saw a great show as Ivan Stewart and Rick Johnson dueled it out. Right now, they're 2nd place coming into view. That's the number 8 of Danny Thompson alongside the Nissan of Roger Mears Jr., and behind him is the number 4 of Ivan Stewart. So that rounds out your top 4. And right now, Ricky Johnson's taking advantage of the mistake by Rob MacCachren early, which tied up everybody else, and he's got about a 7-truck length lead.
Well, he is driving really good right now. He's got a nice little lead. I think he realizes that. All he has to do is concentrate straight out the front windshield.
You know, I talked to their team. Now, John Nelson, the team owner, said, how many hours of testing have you done run? He said, oh, golly, at least 1,000 laps. Went over to the Ford team, Jim Venable and Nye Frank, the crew chief, and they're running in second place right now with Danny Thompson. I said, how many laps? He says, oh, somewhere between 750 and 1,000. I mean, these guys have done some serious testing. They want to take this manufacturer's trophy away from Toyota. Toyota's won it 10 of 11 years. There is Ivan Stewart. That's a look from outside. There's a look inside. You know this feeling very well.
Well, I certainly do. Believe me, he's kind of getting bounced around.
Is there anybody else more fierce in the cockpit than Ivan Stewart?
No, he definitely is. Once he gets his mindset, he gets a little bit of fresh air. Oh, is he hard to run down.
Well, as the camera turns and looks out the front, you get a view of Rob MacCachren right in front of Ivan Stewart, or I should say Danny Thompson in front of Ivan Stewart. Ivan now running in third position. It is Rick Johnson. You're still on board with Ivan. Rick Johnson first. Second place, Danny Thompson is aboard the Toyota of Ivan Stewart.
Let's have a look at Rob MacCachren. He's on the move.
MacCachren is battling for fourth right now. There you see him with the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. There are still 8 laps remaining, so plenty of time for MacCachren to get back into this, especially if we would get a full course yellow and he can pick up one position, and he may do it right here. Let's watch them as they go through the AB lane. MacCachren in the blue and white Venable Racing Ford. Oh, and Ivan Stewart takes a left turn into the hydro barrier. Something broke.
Something had to break.
That's what it looks like from the inboard onboard camera. Right now, what that means is that it is Ricky Johnson first, Danny Thompson second, Roger Mears Jr. third, Rod Millen has moved into fourth ahead of Rob MacCachren. MacCachren got hung out to dry during all that excitement and lost a position to Rod Millen. This man right here, Ricky Johnson, is running away from this field. Now, this guy has won more motocross championships than anybody else. He came out last year, first race of the season here at Anaheim, stood everybody on their ear in the mud, finished second in the points to Rod Millen, and he has basically said, we're going to do 2 things. We want to win a manufacturer's championship for Chevrolet, and then we want to win the driver's championship for guess who?
Well, he certainly is putting a nice drive together right now. But that's what you can do when you're out front. When you only have to look through the front windshield, you don't hear anybody around you, you can drive your own race.
We're going to take a look at Ivan's crash from on board. Let's see what happens. All of a sudden, up over the jump.
He's doing fine so far. Well, the car just hiked up, and he had to catch it, so he had to turn into the barrier.
So he got it up on the bicycle, put it on 2 wheels, and it cost him dearly.
And now we got one upside down.
And this could bring out the full course yellow. It was the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. This would be the one break that Danny Thompson would need if they slow this race down and tighten them up. There's more Stadium Off-Road Racing from Anaheim, California, right after this. Marty Reed and Walker Evans back with you at Anaheim Stadium, the Big A in Anaheim, California. Ricky Johnson, with about 4 laps remaining, has a full straightaway lead over second place. Danny Thompson in the Venable Racing Ford. Rob MacCachren has managed to move up to third place, however. Take a look at this crash one more time. Millen gets into a little bit on the side. Yes, there's contact between the 3 of them, and the loser in that deal is Roger Mears Jr. Would you call that rough driving?
No, I really wouldn't. The contact took place in the air, and it was just like we're going for this corner, both guys.
It looked like everybody's wheels were pretty much pointing straight also.
They really were. It did not look deliberate.
So the guy who really benefits from that is Rob MacCachren. He moves all the way up to third. We've now got 3 laps remaining. It's Ricky Johnson first. Then well back in second is Danny Thompson in the Ford, and then the teammate of Danny, Rob MacCachren, pulling up third.
Look where the 2 Toyotas are running.
Yeah, they're battling for each other well back into the pack. In fact, they are running about 5th and 6th.
Well, I could have never called that.
Well, we had a little bit of contact that I don't think anybody expected either, but right now we're coming up to 2 laps remaining for your leader, Ricky Johnson. Second place is the number 8 of Danny Thompson, and Rob MacCachren is catching his teammate. MacCachren is catching his teammate as they go down through turn number 1.
And we've got 2 laps to go. I don't know. Maybe there's time for Rob to get up there and slide it right on by Danny.
I think Rob may catch Danny. I don't think there's anybody that's going to catch that man, Ricky Johnson. Rick has just driven a superb race. He had a horrible heat race in the second heat. Remember, he never even made it to the finish line. Here's the battle with the white flag out. We'll keep you posted as you look at the battle for second and third. That's Danny Thompson in front of Rob MacCachren. Now we're back up front. Turn number 3, final lap for Ricky Johnson in Chevy Thunder.
You know, the track has gotten a lot rougher. These cars are hiking. They're sliding a little wide on the corners.
We can tell you as you look at our race leader, it's nose to tail between the 2 Fords for second and third. MacCachren closing down.
Millen has a right front flat.
Look here now as we come around the last time. This will be your winner in round number 1. He does it for 2 years in a row at Anaheim. Ricky Johnson takes a checkered flag. Here's the battle for second place. It's Danny Thompson. And Rob MacCachren got around him while we were watching Ricky. So MacCachren comes back with a fine second place effort. Third place goes to Danny Thompson. Fourth will go to Roger Mears Sr. And fifth to Jimmy Johnson in the other Chevrolet. Ivan Stewart comes home in 6th. And Rod Millen limps home in 7th place. We may be in your area, and if we are, we sure want to see you out Saturday, March 12th at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington, and Saturday, June 18th, we'll be at Rice Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah, our second visit to Salt Lake. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to that man, your winner in Anaheim. Do you think he loves it? You bet. National Sport Truck action. Rick Johnson makes it 2 years in a row at Anaheim. Rob MacCachren comes home 2nd. Danny Thompson 3rd. Roger Mears in 4th. Then in 5th, it's Jimmy Johnson, Ivan Stewart, Rod Millen, and Roger Mears Jr. rounding out the 8-vehicle field. There's action down in the pits. Let's go to Mike Anson. Mike?
All right, Ricky Johnson, back-to-back wins. You started off in Anaheim last year. You did this year. You made it look easy.
Well, hey, it's the guy standing behind me, Chevrolet and the Nelson & Nelson team. They gave me a truck that, you know, I feel it was an unfair advantage. You know, I just had to go out there and just drive my own pace. I was fortunate enough with the brakes that I had to start in the front row, and I got to get away from all the mayhem of people running into each other to where I could just run my own pace. So, hey, it worked out.
How'd you like the track out there? Room enough to pass?
Well, I didn't have to pass anybody in the main event. I took the split lane and came out in front. But yeah, in the first heat, I did a lot of passing, and the track was really good. It was soft, and it was soft in some spots, slick in others, and it was also fast and technical. So it had something for every truck out there. It wasn't just, say, a fast track or a technical track, which sometimes they get. So it was great.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks.
Well, when we take a look at the drivers' point standings, you'll see why consistency counts. Despite the big victory, Rick Johnson finds himself in 4th place, 20 points behind Rob MacCachren after round number 1. Ivan Stewart and Danny Thompson squeezed in between those two. In the manufacturers' battle, Ford on top of Toyota, 111-92. Let's go down to Mike Anson in the pits.
All right, an exciting end to the kickoff for the 1994 season of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series. Ricky Johnson taking the big Grand National win. Looks like it's going to be a great season. Looking forward to San Diego. Marty Walker, back to you in the booth.
The Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Anaheim event has been brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Well, don't forget, our next television appearance with the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Tour is Jack Murphy Stadium, San Diego, California. We'll be on the air Saturday, March 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Saturday, March 27th. That'll be round 2 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Tour. For Mike Anson down the pits and Walker Evans, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us in round number 1 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. We'll see you next time we go racing on ESPN's Speed World. This has been a presentation of Mars Incorporated in association with ESPN. We're in San Diego, California at the home of the Padres and the Chargers, but tonight it's the home for round number 2 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. 700 million pounds of dirt have been trucked in for this big event. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with 1991 Grand National Sport Truck Champion Walker Evans. If you were with us for round number 1 at Anaheim, you know that Rick Johnson rebounded from a dismal couple of heat races to take the main event. He's in his backyard here at San Diego, but it's also the backyard of one Ivan Stewart.
Well, I'll say it is, and he's won 2 times in a row here. He's the only driver to ever win 3 in a row, and he did that in Las Vegas at the Silver Bowl, 1988, 89, and 90. I'll tell you what, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can do it again right here in his own backyard in San Diego.
We talk about consistency being the key to winning a championship. Let's show you the driver standings and you'll see what we mean. Take a look at 4th place. Rick Johnson wins the main event, but he finds himself with only 44 points behind Rob MacCachren, Ivan Stewart, and Danny Thompson. But then look at number 5. That is defending class champion Rod Millen, followed up by Roger Mears, Jimmy Johnson, and Roger Mears Jr. Now, there's also a manufacturer's championship at stake. You know this very well. You're the only manufacturer representative when you were driving for Dodge to knock off the Toyotas. Take a look at it now.
Well, Ford's leading, Toyota, Chevrolet backed up with a Nissan.
And that's 111 to 92 as Ford on top of Toyota. Toyota going for their 11th manufacturer's crown in 12 years of racing in the series. Now, there's a 3rd member of our broadcast team. His name is Mike Anson. He's pit side. Mike, what do you got for us?
I'm down here with 2 of the guys that will be contesting the Grand National Trucks. Rick Johnson, who won the first race of the season, and Ivan Stewart, who's won the San Diego race 2 years in a row. Rick, what's it going to be like out here tonight?
Well, there's a lot of hype because it's the hometown crowd. Ivan's won here 2 years in a row, and I've won the first race at Anaheim. So it's a Chevy-sponsored event. I want to win for my first truck race in San Diego in front of the hometown, but Ivan, a.k.a. Old Man over there, he's got some other plans, but my Chevy's running strong. We were quick in practice, so we're going to put our best foot forward.
All right, Ivan, can you do it 3 years in a row and give the kid a little run here?
Well, I tell you, Mike, the Toyota truck is running fantastic. We just won yesterday in Mexico, so there's not a reason in the world we can't come here to San Diego. Nothing like winning in a hometown crowd. Just nothing like it. Rick knows it. I know it. Believe me, there's going to be one heck of a race tonight.
All right, I believe that, and we'll see just how it goes out on the track.
Thank you, Mike. Keep pounding that pavement. We'll be checking back with you in just a few minutes. The Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road San Diego event is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Jimmy Johnson off the racetrack, and we will be getting this race started momentarily. Mark Canossula waves the green flag, and we're underway. That's through turn 1, and there's the A-B lane. Now, Roger Jr., number 6, leads up through the A side, and Senior leads him through the B. They come out side by side, so right now both lanes seem to be even. Oh, and hitting sideways is Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart. That's going to cost him 2 positions. The 2 Fords get right by Ivan. Now he's got to fight alongside with Rob MacCachren. There you see him going screaming by. Right now, the Mears gang running 1-2. It's Senior, Junior, and then Danny Thompson. Thompson had one of his best qualifying efforts in a long time.
Well, he certainly did. He qualified 2nd, and he's got a good running car tonight.
Now he has come up from row number 3, and watch him on the B lane. There you see him there. He's got the 2 Nissans out in front of him. He comes into 2nd. No. Roger Jr. manages to hold on the position, and he'll have the left 180-degree turn number 6 right there, and so he holds him off one more time. In the meantime, out in front and starting to open up a good-sized lead, the number 5 of Roger Mears. Let's set it for you. There you see Rick Johnson. He's had some contact with the right rear quarter panel now away. Let's go on board and see what it's like inside. You know this feeling very well.
Well, I certainly do. I'll tell you, he's just trying to find the quickest line around here so he can gather up, looks like Rob MacCachren in front of him.
It's actually Danny Thompson and then Rob MacCachren, and he does reel him in. He's gaining on him ever so slightly. Then he seems to lose it coming through that fast sweeping left-hander. We'll watch this time as, yes, Roger Mears Sr. takes the B side, but now the A side taken by second place, Danny Thompson. And Rick Johnson follows him. Will it pay off? It does for Danny Thompson. He holds on to the position. It is still Mears Jr. in third, but he gets challenged on the inside. Ricky Johnson takes the position. So now it is Roger Mears Sr., Danny Thompson, Rick Johnson, and then Roger Mears Jr. That's your top four. 3 laps remaining. Roger Mears Sr. has led from the get-go. The battle has been for second, third, and fourth. And again, it will be Danny Thompson maintaining second place over Rick Johnson.
Well, I'm watching Rick's car. It looks like it's working awful good, especially on the corners. He's getting through them extremely good.
Then the big question is, why can't he reel in Danny Thompson? Does the Ford have that much more horsepower here?
It must be the straightaway speed.
So right now, Roger Mears Sr., Danny Thompson trying to reel him in, but Mears, who won 3 times last year on the Mickey Thompson Tour, finds himself in the lead here in heat race number 1. Less than 2 laps remaining. Things have sort of settled down behind our leaders as well. The 2 Toyotas are running near the back of the pack. They're running 5th and 6th. White flag coming out. One more time around. And Ricky Johnson has reeled in second place Danny Thompson. Thompson takes the A lane and Rick takes the B. Now we're going to see who has the quicker car through the infield. Can Rick Johnson make it work? It looks like he's going to take the position. He's got his nose in front. Can he make it stick through turn 6? He does.
Well, he got a little tap in the back, but he was still be able to maintain that 180 turn.
Roger Mears Sr. is going to take the checkered flag. There you see him coming through. The battle will be for second. There's your winner, Roger Mears Sr. Ricky Johnson second, and third place goes to Danny Thompson.
Here in sunny Hawaii for the windsurfing championships. Oh, I'm confused. It looks like Hawaii. We're actually here in San Diego for round 2 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Series, and we're here to talk to the Chevy team and the guy who won the main event in the last race, Ricky Johnson. Rick, tell us about this huge setup you've got here.
Well, it's a Chevy-sponsored event. This is the 3rd year that we raced here at San Diego, so we wanted to do something special, and seeing as how we're in Southern California and the weather's so nice, why not celebrate with a little turf and little palm trees.
Now that's real grass behind us, right? That isn't AstroTurf. That's the real stuff.
That's the real stuff. So smells nice. It's nice on the feet for people walking around. We just want to give the people from Chevrolet and the other people, friends and our family, something nice to come relax in the hospitality area.
Now you won the main event in the last race. Are you ready to do it again this time?
Well, you're always ready, but then again, there's 8 other trucks that are out there that they feel they're ready as well. So we've made some changes on the truck. We're looking forward to this race. Like I say, it is San Diego, my hometown, so we're looking for a win.
You're teamed up with a young man named Jimmy Johnson. Now, when the green flag drops, are you guys still a team out there?
Well, when we go out for practice, we're looking for different things. I like to go out and work on tire setup and try a little bit different obscure lines. Jimmy has his own role, which we can have him tell you himself.
Hi, Jimmy. Let's, when you go out for qualifying, what are you looking for in those first couple of laps?
When I go out for practice, I feel the vehicle out. I go around and check out how the motor's running, make sure it's tuned right, play with some suspension, and then work on lines so when I come back after practice, I can compare notes with Ricky.
Okay, now you guys compare notes when you're practicing, but once the main event starts, are you still teammates?
Yeah, even up to the drop of the flag. Even when we're out on the track, we give each other that extra inch so we're not causing problems, because in the long run, Chevrolet is what we're trying to work on here.
Good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, well, that's from Johnson and Johnson, Nelson and Nelson. Let's go back to Walker and Walker and Marty and Marty, or Marty and Walker, or whoever's up there in the booth.
Thank you, Mike. Stop having so much fun down there.
Kevin, what are some of the benefits of having a major sponsorship such as Yokohama?
That's a good question. There's many benefits, and I can show you a lot of them right now.
Well, let's take a look. Kevin, you've got 3 different types of tires here. Which one does what?
What we have here are 3 different tires from Yokohama. This one we'll start with is a Y352. It's a 15-inch, and if you notice, we took rubber out of the side here for better side bite, and this is a tire we'll use on most tracks for normal conditions. This one here is a 16-inch product for high-speed, dry-packed, really fast track. And this one here is for a tire we'll use in the mud, which is the rain conditions, if it gets really muddy and sloppy, which is a light truck tire. And this one, we can get many races out of here. 352, we can get at least 1 night's worth of racing, and this one will go about 1 race.
Well, no matter what the track conditions are out there, Kevin Smith and his team are ready to go. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Grand National Heat Race number 2. The green flag waves, and we are underway. Jimmy Johnson on the front row alongside of Rob MacCachren. Now remember, MacCachren is racing with a broken left pinky finger knuckle, actually, and very painful when he turns the steering wheel to the left, especially. Right now, Ivan Stewart challenging MacCachren for 2nd place. We've got a jam up back in turn number 5. They get unhooked, but it is Danny Thompson and Ricky Johnson, 2 of the guys that did so well in heat race number 1. Ivan Stewart takes the A lane. Jimmy Johnson takes the B lane. 18 years old. This is the youngest and the oldest competing in the series. Ivan Stewart at the age of 48, and the 18-year-old whippersnapper is out in front of him.
And it certainly looked like that A lane was the quickest one for him that time.
Johnson has opened up about a 5-truck length lead. In fact, Ivan Stewart has got his mirrors full, if he had a mirror, of Rob MacCachren in the Ford and Rod Millen coming on strong. Millen needs a strong heat race here. He is starting to lose contact with the leaders in the driving championship already. Jimmy Johnson in front. Ivan Stewart looks like he may get around and hold on to the position before Rob MacCachren can take it away from him. So it is still Ivan Stewart 2nd, MacCachren 3rd, Rod Millen in 4th.
Well, all the cars seem to be working very good. I mean, I think they've come out with the right combination on their tires. Every one of them seems to be making these turns at a good, high rate of speed.
Now remember, Jimmy Johnson has not won a heat race or a main event since coming into Grand National Sport Truck. He's only raced, this will be his 4th Grand National Sport Truck race. So, you know, this would be a big moment for him if he's able to hold off the Iron Man.
Well, it certainly would, but the Iron Man has got the pressure on him. He is closing.
Okay, now, you've been in this position, especially when it was Robbie Gordon that was tangling with you. If you're Ivan Stewart right now, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to drive my lane, the one I like the best. I am going to make certain that I get through the turns as quick as I possibly can. What I don't want to do is follow him, because if he bobbles, I can't get around him. I want open racing room, and that's what Ivan's got now.
Ivan Stewart on the A lane. Jimmy Johnson on the B lane. They're coming right at you. And it's still Johnson, Stewart, Rob MacCachren, and Rod Millen. So it's Chevrolet, Toyota, Ford, Toyota. That's your top 4.
When it comes down to the A, B lanes for the Grand Nationals, boy, it looks like they are dead heat even.
Ivan Stewart's all over.
He's done something different. Okay, I like that. I like that kind of thing. All of a sudden, it's a change-up, took Ivan off guard, and look at, he's got him about 3 car lengths and going away.
Great move by Jimmy Johnson. So with 2 laps, actually 1 lap remaining, he makes the move of the race, which may be the turning point, because Ivan was closing. 1 turn remaining. The 18-year-old is going to pull it off from nearby El Cajon. He's got his first heat win.
He does.
Ivan Stewart 2nd. 3rd place to Rob MacCachren. Rod Millen is 4th. Party at my house! Welcome back to San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. I'm Marty Reed, and we are getting ready now for the Grand National main event. You saw the heat races. Let's take a look, Walker, at the points championship right now for the drivers, because it's really tightened up. Rob MacCachren's lead is dwindling. He is down to 4 points over Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart. Rick Johnson is now 3rd with 73. Danny Thompson and Roger Mears are tied for 4th. Each has 67. Rod Millen makes a substantial gain into 6th place with 63. Jimmy Johnson, with the heat win, moves up to 52, and Roger Mears Jr. falling behind right now with 39. So now it's time to find out who has saved what little they have left. You are on board with Rick Johnson. He's on the front row as we set the starting grid for you. The pole sitter will be that man, Danny Thompson. In the Ford, Johnson Chevrolet alongside. Row 2 will have the Ironman, Ivan Stewart, and Rob MacCachren, current points leader. Row 3, Roger Mears. In the Nissan, Rod Millen's Toyota alongside. Then in row 4, Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolet, winner of his first heat race tonight, and Roger Mears Jr. alongside in the other Nissan. The start, oh so critical. Mark Knossolev waves the green flag. We're underway. 12 laps of racing. Danny Thompson leads the A-lane charge, and it is Rick Johnson on the B side. Down into turn number 4, and it is Rick Johnson with the lead. The two Fords battling for second.
Danny Johnson just showed him that B lane was the quickest that time.
Oh, and back in the back there, you saw Rod Millen sort of piggyback with Ivan Stewart for a second. No harm, no foul on either car. Down into turn 1, 11 laps remaining. It's Rick Johnson on the bicycle for a little bit. Second place is Danny Thompson. Third place is Rob MacCachren. And fourth and fifth are the two Toyotas of Millen and Ivan Stewart. Remember, Ivan Stewart trying to win his third straight race here at San Diego. Oh, Danny Thompson hits the hydro barrier, and it's going to cost him at least 4 positions.
Well, it certainly does. Both Toyotas pulled out in front on that one.
Let's reset. Oh, Rick Johnson's on the bicycle. What a great save.
But that certainly put MacCachren right up there with him. And now we got a little bump and rub.
This is the roughest we've seen it in the first 2 rounds of racing.
Both Toyotas side by side.
Boy, nobody giving quarter
anywhere.
The
and the Toyotas actually hurt themselves right there. Cost themselves a couple of laps.
And one of the Toyotas, Rod Millen, goes over. He's back on all 4s. You can see him back there with the damage. Let's reset this for you. Rick Johnson and Rob MacCachren running 1-2. Then in third place is Ivan Stewart, but he's well back. Right now, Ricky Johnson, he seems to be hiking up every time down through corners 1 and 2.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if maybe a sway bar hasn't given up or broken. It is getting severe amount of hiking on that one turn right there.
Rob MacCachren not surrendering. It is Chevy versus Ford. The crowd is going absolutely crazy. On board with Rick Johnson. That's what it looks like when you're the leader.
Well, he's out front right now. He's just trying to drive the best he can, the quickest he can. But you remember, this car does like to hike on this high-speed left-hand turn.
Right there, he does go up on 2 wheels again momentarily. Oh, and little contact there. Rob MacCachren backs out just long enough to keep from pushing Johnson all the way over. It'll still be Rick Johnson, the Chevrolet, in first. Rob MacCachren's Ford second. And now Rod Millen is closed in the Toyota.
Well, I believe that's Ivan that's pulled up in there.
You're right. It is Ivan Stewart.
Even though the Toyotas were banging amongst themselves, Ivan has pulled right up, and he's working on the third place. He's in third, working on the second.
7 laps remaining. You're on board with Rick Johnson. You've seen this routine enough. You know what to do. Oh, and he gets a little sideways.
Was that a tap off of MacCachren?
A love tap.
Yeah.
Ivan Stewart trying the outside. Look at this. The battle for second is heating up. Rick Johnson's got about a 4-3 truck length lead. Rob MacCachren now has his hands full with Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart.
Well, he does. Ricky Johnson does have a little bit of breathing room, but I'll bet you that MacCachren will come back up for another, you might say, a little bit of pressure put back on him.
All right.
MacCachren's having his hiking escapade, you might say.
He got it up nice and high, made a nice save, but it could cost him second place if Ivan could get around. There you see the lead, and there is the battle for second. MacCachren manages to hold on to second position. We should tell you, Danny Thompson is a distant fourth, and Jimmy Johnson is a distant fifth. Rick Johnson in the Chevrolet comes by with now 5 laps remaining. And you're right, Walker. He has definitely got some handling problems on that Chevrolet.
And look at MacCachren's got handling problems. I'll tell you, what I really think it is this clay. The traction is just phenomenal for these cars.
Well, we now have a new second place. That'll be Ivan Stewart taking over the position as Rob MacCachren loses a spot. So now it is Chevy, Toyota, and Ford.
Well, Ricky Johnson better drive a very clean race and not hike, or we're going to... And Ivan Stewart just hikes, loses another couple of car lengths to Ricky Johnson.
Down into the AB lane, and both Rick Johnson and Ivan Stewart take the B side. Rob MacCachren takes the A lane. Will it pay off? Not this time. It's still Rick Johnson, Ivan Stewart, Rob MacCachren. On board with Rick Johnson. Watch as we pan out front. You'll see what happens. Don't get seasick on us. Oh, Rick gets a little sideways, makes a nice save. 3 laps to go.
The track is getting rougher. They are hitting those moguls, and that's causing a little bit of the hiking as well.
This is still anybody's race in that front 3 group. It could be Chevy, Ford, or Toyota. It could be Rick Johnson, Rob MacCachren, or Ivan Stewart. Stewart maintains second place.
You can bet one thing, Ricky is driving flat out. He wants this win. He wants those Chevrolets up front.
Now remember, he won round number 1 in Anaheim. Here
Ivan wants that third win.
2 laps to go. Ivan won here in 1992. He won again last year in 93 in San Diego. It is his home track. It is Ricky Johnson's home track. The fans are literally on their feet.
Ivan just let Ricky know he's there. A little tap.
And we've got Rod Millen over on his side when the yellow flag comes out. Ivan has to duck to the inside. It will be a full course yellow. So with 2 laps remaining, we're going to go to a full course yellow. Stay with us. We'll have the dramatic conclusion to the Grand National Sport Truck Final right after this. Marty Reed, Walker Evans, and Mike Hansen back with you, and we have been told that the accident scene has not been cleared in time. As Rick Johnson comes by this time, he will take the checkered flag. This race will end under yellow. Rick Johnson will finish first, Ivan Stewart second, and Rob MacCachren will be third. So that is going to be the way it will finish out here in round number 2.
All right, congratulations. Now it's on to Seattle.
Yeah, we go up to Seattle. But I can't end without thanking a lot of people. Chevrolet, who put the best 2 trucks on the track. I got to congratulate my teammate Jimmy Johnson, who just did a stellar performance in that second heat. Also the Nelson crew, all the guys, Ivan, John, everybody. They did an awesome job, and just thank the good Lord for giving me the ability and the opportunity to go out there and do what I can do.
All right, congratulations to Ricky Johnson. Now let's throw it back up to the booth. Walker, Marty, back to you.
In the Pacific Northwest, where Mount Rainier casts its shadow over the city of Seattle, and we're inside the Seattle Kingdom for round number 3 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with 1991 Grand National Sport Truck Champion Walker Evans. And if you've been with us for the first 2 rounds, you know that Rick Johnson's been the man to beat in the main events. He's won at Anaheim. He's won at San Diego. But Walker, this is a close battle for the championship.
Well, I'll say it is, Marty. I have never seen it this close. You can literally throw a blanket over the first 3. Let's take a look at them. You've got Rick, Rob, Ivan, Roger. The first 7 are right in there. Any one of them could come right on in on this series.
It's interesting you mentioned the first 7. Take a look at 7th place. Rod Millen. He is going for his 3rd consecutive Drivers' Championship, and he epitomizes the trouble that Team Toyota finds itself in. They seem to be a bit urgent about this race.
Well, I'll say they are. Believe me, Rod's got a broken arm. He is not qualified very good. Things are a little tough right now for him. They've got to get tough. They've got to get serious.
It's the first time that Toyota has ever been in 3rd place in the Manufacturers' Championship battle. You know, you mentioned the fact Rod Millen has a broken arm. He had that happen to him late in the main event at San Diego, and he has been struggling with his driving. Mike Hansen is with him. He's the 3rd member of our team. Mike, bring us up to date on Rod's condition.
We're down here at Team Toyota pits with Rod Millen. Rod, last week in the 11th lap of that special race, you had a little problem.
Yeah, sure I did. You know, I ended up getting myself caught up with the barrier. The power steering failed, and I broke my arm. So,
now, how is that affecting you this weekend here at the Kingdom?
well, we've been really concerned. We went out and tested here on Thursday. The track was real smooth. It felt okay. You know, today's a lot different. The bumps are much bigger, and I'm getting a little bit of jarring, but I'm trying not to use that hand too much.
Well, who says off-road racers aren't tough? Is it bothering you at all?
No, not at this stage. You know, I'm hoping that I'm not going to get too tangled up with the guys tonight. I know if things don't look great, I'm going to let go.
All right, Marty Walker, that's it from Team Toyota Pits. Back to you up in the booth.
Well, thanks, Mike. We're getting ready for first heat action in Grand National Sport Trucks. All right, let's take a lap at Seattle. We're coming up over the start. Head down to turn 1. This is your first big decision, Walker.
Well, it certainly is. You got an A lane or a B lane. We chose the A lane with our camera car, riding with Rob.
All right, MacCachren takes us on the farther but quicker line, and as you come out, this is where you empty together, and sometimes there is a little contact in this sport, and you get an idea what that is like. Now, this takes you over a set of jumps down into a 180-degree left-hander into turn 5.
And that is where we start into the high-speed part of our course around here.
Takes you into turn 6, which is a huge sweeper, and all the way around, and show you how quick it is at this course. We are back at the finish line already. Now, if you make a mistake and get called for a penalty, right there in front of you, on to your right, is the Triton penalty box area. And you go there, and it's usually a stop-and-go penalty. And that's the one place you don't want to visit. Well, you can see part of the great crowd on hand here at the Seattle Kingdom. Heat number 1 now, Grand National Sport Trucks. All the vehicles are in line. Mark Canopola, upper left-hand portion of your screen. In the order for the Mickey Thompson Tour, a lot of pressure on Rod Millen right now. He has got to perform tonight if he wants a dream of holding on to that 3rd straight title. Right off the start, Millen fires away.
He didn't want to come up through the traffic and pass and get the chance of getting that arm hurt a little bit.
So right now, Millen out in front. We'll run back through the entire field for you as you're watching Rod Millen. 2nd place, Roger Mears Sr. 3rd place, Roger Jr. Then Danny Thompson has moved into 4th ahead of Ivan Stewart in 5th. Rick Johnson 6th, Rob MacCachren 7th. You're on board with MacCachren right now. And 8th place is Jimmy Johnson. Obviously, that new motor not being much of a big help for Johnson.
Right now, Ricky's struggling just to hold on to MacCachren. MacCachren's really putting up a fight trying to get by him to get some points.
Taking the B lane, Rob MacCachren down through this section of whoops into a hard 180-degree right-hander. There's Rick Johnson right in front of him, and Jimmy Johnson right behind. Now, MacCachren was the fastest in qualifying, but Walker, this track has always been infamous for not being able to pass. Back up front with our leader, Rod Millen, and Millen with a sizable margin now, Walker. He has opened it up. That broken arm doesn't seem to be bothering him, and he's going to be coming up soon on Jimmy Johnson, who's up on the hydro barrier. Right there you see him outside of turn number 4. He's trying to work his way off of it. Millen goes by. You'll see him come through the screen momentarily, and then Johnson does it. He gets off, but he's down a lap.
Well, he certainly is, but I was impressed that he was able to get off the barrier.
Well, the big advantage is to Rod Millen, though. Now, Roger Mears in 2nd place is going to have to get around lap traffic to get to Rod Millen. He's not going to be able to do it. There's only one lap.
One lap to go, that's right.
So last time around for Rod Millen in the Toyota, this was a must-win situation for him. His strategy has paid off.
Well, it certainly has. You know, he did not want to take a chance of running up through the traffic. He wanted to stay away from the barricades and just drive his own race, and it has worked for him.
A couple of more turns. Millen down through turn 5 on the backstretch. There you get a shot of Rob MacCachren, who has fallen well back in this field. He is running 7th. And the checker flag coming up now for Rod Millen. And he takes heat race number 1 here at Seattle's Kingdom. Round number 3 of the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Tour. Roger Mears is 2nd, and Roger Mears Jr. is 3rd. Back at the Seattle Kingdom, I'm Marty Reed along with Mike Anson and Walker Evans. And how would you feel if you had won your first race before you ever were allowed to drive on the highway? Well, C.J. Mears did that last year at the age of 15. He just had a birthday, and Mike Anson caught up with the celebration. Mike, it's all yours.
We're here at the Kingdome in Seattle, and we're in the pits with Roger Mears and Roger Mears Jr. And Roger, you have another son who's racing for another team, and it's a very special day for him.
Yeah, it really is. CJ is finally 16. We have waited so long. He's waited a long time. He's been racing now for 3 years, so he's been 15 for 3 years.
He won his first heat race when he was 14 years old. Now he's out there racing. He's going to have a driver's license. Are you going to send him out to chase parts for you now?
You bet. We're going to put him to work now.
Roger, what about baby brother now? Is he going to jump into these cars and chase you around?
Well, I sure hope so. That'd be great. You know, I'm just happy for him. As everybody knows, when you turn 16, I mean, it's just everything. You get your driver's license, and I'm just happy for him to be 16 and happy that he's racing for Nature's Recipe. It's a good team, and someday I do hope he's in here racing with me.
Well, that would be a heck of a thing, all three of you out on the track together. Let's wish him a happy birthday.
All right.
Happy birthday, CJ.
CJ, right.
CJ Mears, you're the youngest of the racing clan. Today's a special day for you, right?
Yeah, it is.
How old are you now?
Just turned 16.
Woohoo! And here's the cake.
Right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Casey. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, Marty and Walker, it's great cake. Too bad you couldn't be down here with us. Sorry.
Well, thanks, Mike. No cake for us, no ride for you back to the hotel. It is absolutely a gorgeous evening outside the Seattle Kingdome. It's been a perfect day all day here in the Pacific Northwest. Indoors, I'm Marty Reed along with Walker Evans. Mike Anson's alongside in pit lane, and we're getting ready for the main event in GRAN National Sport Trucks. And we've talked about it before. It seems like Ricky Johnson is the man who seems to step up and been able to win the main events at our first two stops. But the Mr. Consistency Award probably should go to Rob MacCachren.
Well, I totally agree. I think he's going to be the one we need to watch tonight. He's been the fastest qualifier 2 times in a row. And let's just take a look. Right here he is out front. Ricky Johnson's 220 or 121 right with him. And Ivan's tied. Those are the 3 we got to watch closely tonight.
Also, as you look on down through the bottom of the pack, all the way to 7th, a total of 97 points. Really, there are 7 drivers that have a legitimate shot as of this race to win the Drivers' Championship. Roger Mears Jr. probably the only one that's already losing contact.
I'm impressed, though, with Millen. He has done a great job, even with his arm and the condition he's in. He was 7th, now he's up to 5th in the points.
Well, fasten your seatbelts, because it's time to find out who's going to take round number 3 here at the Kingdome. All right, this is the showdown we've been waiting for. Main event, GRAN National Sport Trucks. Let's set the starting grid for you. And boy, has Toyota lucked out on this one with the inversion. Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart on the front row. Rick Johnson, Rob MacCachren in row 2. Danny Thompson and Roger Mears in row number 3. Jimmy Johnson and Roger Mears Jr. in row 4. And the green flag flies, and we're underway. And Rod Millen and Ricky Johnson make contact right away. And boy, Ricky's saying, I want to get around this guy fast.
Well, Ricky definitely let him know he's in this run.
Now remember, Rob MacCachren comes in with the points lead right now, and Ivan Stewart tied for 2nd. And it's Ivan Stewart 1st, MacCachren 2nd, Rod Millen 3rd. The Iron Man finished 2nd to Rick Johnson at our last stop at San Diego.
Marty, this is going to be a very interesting race. After all, Rob MacCachren qualified on the pole. He's got a very quick car.
And we're on board with him right now, so you get an idea. As they're side by side, there's the Iron Man. Oh, contact him. Yep. MacCachren's right into the hydro barrier. Now will rough driving take a look at that?
Well, this has been the luck of MacCachren quite a while here, the last couple of races. Little thing where it's been off the starting line or into the race a little way.
Well, Rob MacCachren won this race back in 1991 here in Seattle. Ivan Stewart won it in 1990. It looks like MacCachren's going to have to go a long way if he's going to make it number 2 here. Ivan Stewart and Rod Millen are now 1-2. You're on board again with Rob MacCachren. He is currently running in 5th. That's Rick Johnson in 4th place, right in front of him in the Chevrolet, and Roger Mears in the Nissan in 3rd. Oh, if Toyota holds on to this 1-2 finish, the manufacturer's points are going to be incredible.
Yeah, they're going to jump out front quite a way.
give you an idea, as you look at the battle between MacCachren and Ricky Johnson, Toyota came into this main event with a 230 to 229 lead over Chevrolet. 1 point separated. But boy, if they take first and second here, look out.
Well, Roger Mears right now is the only one that can get up there and do anything about it, Marty.
Rob MacCachren trying to get around, and oh, look at the action going on behind the Toyotas. There it is, the 2 Chevrolets and the Ford. This is the best action on the race course. That is Rick Johnson, and then Rob MacCachren has gotten around Jimmy Johnson. That is for 5th place on the race course.
MacCachren's definitely driving hard again, trying to get back up into contention. But look at there. Jimmy just put one on him and blocked him out, took the position back away.
Ivan Stewart, the Iron Man. You know, that number 4 signifies where he finished in the points race last year, and that is the lowest he has ever finished in all the years that he has been competing on the Mickey Thompson Tour.
Well, he's definitely driving tonight like he wants to make a big change.
I'll tell you what, Rod Millen has gotten himself back into this points championship, broken arm and all. He was in 7th place when this evening started. He started this race in 5th, and if this holds up, even 2nd place points are going to be incredible. Oh, and Rob MacCachren has stopped in turn number 4. There you see the view, and here comes the race leaders right through, and that's the view that Rob MacCachren has. Oh, what a heartbreak for Ford. This is going to hurt them in the points.
Yeah.
Ivan Stewart back up front as he and Rod Millen hold the lead. 3rd place is now Roger Mears. 4th is Rick Johnson. 5th is Jimmy Johnson.
And look at the duel we're having between the Toyotas. I mean, you'd never even think they're teammates as they're running so hard up front.
Ivan Stewart. Oh, he gets into the hydro barrier there just a little bit. Oh, and then we had a crash down in turn number 4. There you see the car right in front of you. That is the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr.
And that's going to bring out us a yellow.
It has not yet.
No, it certainly hasn't.
Oh, and then Ivan makes the wrong move. Okay. No yellow, and now they bring it out. They've got him slowed down. He's got to get on the binders quickly. Can he make it through? He does.
He does make it through.
And we are going to go to a full course yellow. Whew, I didn't think they were going to get that yellow out in time. Well, we'll sort things out here as they try and unroll Roger Mears Jr. Stay with us. We'll be back for the dramatic conclusion after this. Back in Seattle, Washington at the Kingdome. Marty Reed along with Walker Evans and Mike Hansen, and we're getting ready to go green. Ivan Stewart, Rod Millen, and Roger Mears Sr. That's 1, 2, and 3. Rick Johnson is in 4th. 3 laps remaining. Ivan Stewart gets hung up on the hydro barrier just a little bit. Might be an opening for his teammate.
It's going to be interesting. And the teammate pulled it out.
Rod Millen, who's had just a horrible first 2 races, is now in the lead.
Broken arm and all.
Because he was in jeopardy of losing contact with the points championship. And look at the performance he's turned in tonight.
Well, it certainly has been phenomenal. And definitely the Toyotas are right back up there. They're just lethal. They can do that.
1 lap remaining for Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart to make it a 1-2 Toyota sweep. And boy, will this change the complexion of the battle as we head to Las Vegas for our next stop.
Well, Marty, Ivan's not going down easy. He's trying everything. He went into the A lane, came out of the B, the lane before that. But it looks like Rod's going to prevail.
Unless Rod makes a big mistake, it's his race. Right now, 1 more turn. Rod Millen, the man who's trying to make it 3 Grand National Championships in a row, wins in Seattle. Ivan Stewart takes 2nd. 3rd place goes to Roger Mears. 4th to Danny Thompson. Let's go down to victory lane where Mike Hansen has caught up to our winner, Rod Millen.
Rod Millen, you pulled it off just when Team Toyota needed some points. You and Ivan came through 1-2. Then that wrist didn't slow you down a bit?
It might tomorrow. It's a little sore now, but most of the time I sort of had to drive with one hand and just use the other hand to assist. But going across the jumps, I didn't want to hang on too hard because I knew the jarring would be too much.
Well, the points have been, shall we say, shaken and stirred in Grand National Sport Truck. Ivan Stewart's moved to the head of the class by 9 over Rick Johnson, by 10 over Rob MacCachren.
Oh, and look what that DNF did for Rob MacCachren. He would have probably been leading if it hadn't have
had a problem.
Maybe by as many as 10 points over Ivan. Rod Millen and Roger Mears. Boy, Millen had a great night. He's moved into a tie for 4th with 124. Then Danny Thompson, Jimmy Johnson, and Roger Mears Jr. round out the field of 8. What about the Manufacturers Championship? Ooh, surprise, surprise. They came in here a little bit concerned. They go out with the lead, Team Toyota.
They've certainly done a fantastic job tonight.
Well, we have had a fantastic time in Seattle, Washington, here at the Kingdome. Hope you have enjoyed it as well. For Mike Anson and Walker Evans, I'm Marty Reed. We'll see you next time that we go off-road racing on ESPN Speed World. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to round number 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Tonight, we're at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed. Albeit a little breezy atop the stadium, we have got some great racing action for you tonight. As we head to the midway point of the season, no less than 7 drivers are within 31 points of the lead in Grand National Sport Truck action. It literally means by the end of the night, you could be in 7th and go all the way to 1st, depending on what happens. Now, you're asking, where's my partner, Walker Evans? Well, he's down trackside, where the 1991 Grand National Sport Truck champion will take us around this tough layout at the Las Vegas Silver Bowl. Walker?
As we accelerate past the green flag, we want to try to get as much speed as we can, leading into the sweeper at the far end of the track. Coming out of that, we've got 2 big, massive jumps to clear. And the speed is very, very important. After all, we've got 2 moguls that are key things. We have to clear them both and land and make a 180 turn. Then we've got big moguls after that. Going into turn 3 at the far end is very, very critical. The speed is not there. The truck has to accelerate very, very quickly to be able to get over these big, big moguls that are in front of us. The suspension has to work properly. After all, if it doesn't, the truck jumps off this one crooked, lands back over here, and does not put you into this turn, a 180 turn, properly to go back to the start-finish line. And if the rough driving officials think you're a little too rough on this track, this is where you'll pay a visit, the Triton penalty box. And there's an official standing on the other side of this box giving you a 5-second count. You will think it takes eternity for that 5 seconds to go by. And after that, you'll be back out on this track trying to catch the rest of the group.
Well, thanks, Walker. Put the hiking boots on. You know, it's a long way up to the press box, and it's time for you to go back to work. The 3rd member of our crew tonight is Mike Anson. He's going to be patrolling pit lane. Mike?
We're in the Ford pits with Jerry Whelchel. Now, he's a man you're familiar with. He's won all of the Super 1600 races so far this year. But this week, you're driving for Ford. How did that come about?
Well, Danny Thompson took over the organization, MTEG, and we're going to try to make it for better racing for the spectators. So when his truck came available, I was the first guy in line, and I took the chance.
Now, you'll be racing in Super 1600 as well. You've been going back and forth from team to team, changing uniforms. Are you going to be a tired puppy tonight?
Yeah, it's mentally tough and physically tough, but I think I can handle it. I've been training a lot lately on the mountain bike and things, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a win in the buggy and in the truck.
Good luck to you tonight. That's the story from down here in the pits with one of the busiest men who will be here this weekend, Jerry Whelchel.
Well, thanks, Mike. I think you're going to be pretty busy, too. Stay with us. The racing begins right after this. Take a look at the weather conditions for tonight's action. High overcast skies, 75 degrees. The humidity, as you might expect in the middle of the desert, 15%. But the winds, they could be the big factor, blowing the dust all over the place, gusting to 40 miles an hour. Time now for heat number 1, Grand National Sport Trucks, 8 laps of action. Let's set the starting field for you. Row number 1, it'll be all Toyota, Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart. In row number 2, Rob MacCachren in the Ford, Rick Johnson in a Chevy. Row 3, Jimmy Johnson in a Chevrolet, Roger Mears in a Nissan. Then Roger Mears Jr. in another Nissan, and Jerry Whelchel in the other Ford round out the 8-truck field. We are ready to go with racing action at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. Starter Bill Rickey signals the green flag, and the race is underway, and we head for that all-important turn 2.
That's the one that they've got to clear to get out in front.
We talked about it at the beginning of the show, and there it is, making that double jump, then getting hard on the binders. Rod Millen, Rob MacCachren trying to duck on the inside of Ivan Stewart.
Well, he certainly is. MacCachren's right up in there.
Millen on the hard 180-degree right hand. 3 abreast as they come through in second place. Hitting a truck. Oh, no! no, and Ivan Stewart goes over.
He did make a little mistake. He got too sideways, got bumped, and now it looks like he's got front-end steering problems. An upright part of the suspension, something has happened to that Toyota.
And Ivan Stewart is pulling off to the side of the course, and it means that man, Rod Millen, will now have to carry Team Toyota's colors here in heat race number 1.
Well, he certainly is doing that, though. As I see one of the Nelson truck pulling into there, what has happened to MacCachren? He was right up in there in the thick of things.
So MacCachren has dropped back to 3rd place. Rod Millen in 1st. And boy, look at the front end get high as he comes down into that left-hand turn. The last one coming onto the front straightaway here into the fast sweeper. There's Rick Johnson. Then in 3rd place, there is Rob MacCachren.
Track conditions look ideal. Look at the traction they're getting coming through this little half-mile sweeper turn here.
Well, and we always expect it to be very dry at this track.
Well, we certainly did. It's usually been that way after all that hot desert sun beating down. But I'll tell you, the track crews have really worked to keep the moisture in this track.
On board with Rod Millen, you see the pounding that he takes. Hold on to your lunch because we're going to take out the front now and up over the jumps, right past the finish line, down into turn 1. Take us, Walker.
And I'm telling you, he's running 45, maybe 50 miles an hour through there. That Toyota is working great.
Heading for that all-important double. Look at the way Rod Millen clears it. 2nd place is still Rick Johnson. 3rd is Rob MacCachren. Back on board with Rod Millen. This is turn number 3. Hard 180 degree to the right. And boy, it is so tight there.
It certainly is, but you can even feel the acceleration.
A lot of torque coming out of this Toyota power plant on the front straightaway one more time. And the battle for 2nd is tightening up. Rob MacCachren closing in on Rick Johnson. It's one thing to close in, Walker. It's another thing to be able to pass him.
Well, it certainly is. But, you know, like Rod said, this is his track, his hometown. He's got to put on a great show here. He clears that, too.
That all-important double jump that we talked about, so critical to your lap time being successful here at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. And again, Rick Johnson able to open up a little more distance on the internal sections of this racetrack.
I know the split times here doesn't show MacCachren pulling up on him, so it looks like they're holding their own about right now.
Rod Millen, lockstep in front of Rick Johnson. There's Rob MacCachren. Jimmy Johnson, will tell you, is in 4th place at this point on the race course. Back on board with Rod Millen. Up over the jump. Watch the suspension. Oh, he got a little sideways there, and so did Rick Johnson behind him.
Well, that's all the way you attack these courses. If that truck doesn't run straight up them, it's going to come off of them a little bit sideways.
Critical point of timing. Get a little too aggressive, you could find yourself on your nose. Past the start-finish line one more time. Little touch of flame out the side of the Toyota. Nothing to worry about?
Well, no, it's a little bit of probably leftover gases in the pipe, and then it reignited.
Well, look at Rob MacCachren getting a little sideways as he came out of turn number 1, heading for 2. And boy, now Rick Johnson, you get an idea just how critical that little side action was to losing ground for Rob MacCachren.
Well, it did. It put him back a little bit further, didn't it?
Rod Millen working his way around turn number 4 one more time, and the white flag is out.
I'll tell you right now, the best thing about what Rob's got going for him right now is he gets to drive his own race. Nobody in front of him, nobody throwing mud at him. He is driving the part of the track that he wants to be on.
And again, he makes the double. There's Rick Johnson in 2nd place. Rob MacCachren a distant 3rd. It looks like that's the way it's going to finish here in heat race number 1 at round number 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Rod Millen, he won the last time out at round number 3 in Seattle. It was an all-important victory, and here he's going to take heat race number 1, the checker flag for Rod Millen and Team Toyota. 2nd place, tightening up just a bit, but it will be Rick Johnson in the Chevy, and then the Ford of Rob MacCachren, as that's the way they'll finish 1, 2, and 3. Back after this. Walker Evans and Mike Anson back with you at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl, and let's go back to Ivan's crash, Walker.
Well, he looks like he winds up the meat in between a sandwich between a Ford and a Chevrolet there.
Well, we find out from Mike Anson that he's got an injured wrist. Mike, what's the story?
How's the hand, Ivan? I just sprained it real bad, Mike. I think it just jammed the steering wheel. Come down real hard. It hit real hard, so tore the truck up. But I think we just lost the brakes, blew a tire out, and something with the steering's broken, but we'll be all right.
Okay, the PPI guys can do it for you?
I'll guarantee it.
All right, we'll see you out there.
All right, Mike, thank you.
Marty Reed, Walker Evans, Mike Hansen back with you. Round 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. And there is Jerry Whelchel. He has taken over the driver's seat of the Ford Rough Riders machine, formerly driven by Danny Thompson. Asked where Danny Thompson is. Well, today he is president of the organization. We talked earlier. Danny, let's look at the short term. What changes can we expect to see?
Marty, I don't think there's going to really be any significant short-term changes. I mean, the series is at its height right now. We keep growing in spectators and growing in sponsorship, and I don't think we're not going to go around and change anything short-term. We're just going to keep going on with our program. We're going to be building it up a little bit more each time. I mean, the main thing that we have that's really exciting to me is we have 375,000 live attendees a year that come to watch our venues. I mean, trucks, Ford, Chevrolet, Dodges, Toyotas. I mean, all the marquees are here, and all the people that come watch them, they're truck people. You walk out in our parking lot, predominantly you see trucks and sport utility vehicles. So we're just going to keep keying on that. We like that. We like that customer.
All right, let's focus in on long term. What can we expect to see down the road?
Well, it's something that we're really excited about. We got what we call a spec truck. Now, we're borrowing an idea from NASCAR that was so successful with them with limiting their cost of their vehicles. We're going to take a chassis. It's going to be spec built. It's going to come to the customer as a roller. Now, anybody can come buy it. It's going to be a full-on stadium truck. I mean, the same quality that Cal Wells and the Toyota team runs, or John Nelson and the Chevrolet team, or Nye Frank and the Ford team. I mean, this is going to be a very high-quality piece. It's going to be a $50,000 vehicle. It's going to come less a body and less an engine and less shock absorbers. The reason we say shock absorbers is it still leaves the teams some ingenuity to work on shocks. Rest of it, we're speccing out so there's a lot of parity in here. Now, if you come in, Marty Reed, and you say, in 1996, I want to run a stadium truck, you're going to virtually have the same truck as Ivan Stewart or Roger Mears. So it's going to bring some real excitement in here, some more competitors, and now a truck's going to be $50,000 rather than $250,000. So it's something we're really excited about.
Marty Reed, Walker Evans with you at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. Las Vegas, Nevada. It's time now for heat race number 2, Grand National Sport Trucks. And there is the pole sitter with the inversion from the results of heat race number 1. Now let's take a look at the points. This is what has happened since heat race number 1. Ricky Johnson has vaulted ahead of Ivan Stewart, 154 to 148, and Rod Millen is tied his Toyota teammate. Rob MacCachren is 4th, just 1 point behind those two. Now, starting grid. It is Jerry Whelchel and Ivan Stewart on the front row. Roger Mears Jr. alongside his dad, Roger Sr. In row 3, Jimmy Johnson alongside Rob MacCachren. And then in the back, Rick Johnson and heat race number 1 winner, Rod Millen. On board with Rod Millen. Look at the intense look on his face. Starter Bill Rickey has the green flag in his hands. He waves it, and heat race number 2 is underway. Jerry Whelchel, this is a one-off deal for him. He has to perform very well to maintain this ride. The Ford team is trying to work out a deal to bring Robbie Gordon back to the series. Ivan Stewart looking to the inside. Whelchel sideways. Straightens it out long enough. Can he make the corner? Whoa, opens up a big door. But nobody can drive through it. 3 wide.
Well, you know what happened the last time they went 3 wide, and it almost ate him again. Look at it.
Boy, and MacCachren nudges one of the Nissans, and now Ivan Stewart has got to play catch-up with Jerry Whelchel. So Whelchel doing very well here after not doing so well in heat race number 1. Down into turn number 2, you can see the dirt flying off of the 2 Nissans. Junior and his father, Roger Mears Sr., going after each other. There's Jerry Whelchel coming over. Oh, he gets a little top-heavy. Look at the contact. That is MacCachren's Ford alongside with Rod Millen. They are running in the back of the pack. In fact, MacCachren has moved all the way back to last. Oh, and Jimmy Johnson has gone over and is back on all fours, and we're underway.
Lost 1 position.
He ends up losing no more than 1 position in the deal. And meanwhile, up front, there you see Jerry Whelchel in the other Ford with Ivan Stewart in the Toyota. Now, Stewart, remember, he did not finish heat race number 1 after rolling over and breaking a suspension piece. He's now on the backside of Jerry Whelchel and putting a lot of pressure on him.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the boy is driving his heart out right now to hold the Ironman off. The Ironman's not going to take any of that. He's coming right up there, and he's working on him. Side by side, fantastic racing, and it looks like it puts Ivan in the right spot for the 180.
The Ironman sets him up and takes the lead. Stewart in front of Jerry Whelchel. Third place is Roger Mears Sr. You're getting a little excited here.
I'll tell you right now, Ivan was a little excited himself.
Whelchel's falling back quickly into the clutches of Roger Mears Sr. They come around turn 4. Roger Mears closing quickly. And meanwhile, it has allowed Ivan Stewart to open up a huge lead. Let's set it for you. It's Ivan Stewart. Then second place, as you look out for Rod Millen, is Jerry Whelchel. Third is Roger Sr. Jr. is fourth. And you're on board with fifth place. That is Rod Millen. Then sixth place is Jimmy Johnson. Seventh is Ricky Johnson. And eighth is Rob MacCachren. And I'm stunned at MacCachren. I thought he would be doing a little bit better here in front of his home folks.
Well, I thought he would too. But, you know, here's what we're watching right here is Jerry Whelchel in a heavier weight vehicle. He is not able to time the corners right. Roger, with the experience, is going to be taking over the second place spot here short.
3 laps remaining. Look at the lead. There went Ivan Stewart through the shot. Here comes Roger Mears trying to look on the inside. He takes the position. That's experience right there.
That's basically the way the Ironman got around him, too. Drove up, put himself in the right position.
And here comes Roger Jr., but a little smoke from Mears. White flag is out for the Ironman. Here comes Stewart around turn 1. The big sweeper. He'll take this and double him up and flies it cleanly. In fact, he goes too deep. Luckily, he has a huge lead. He can afford that mistake. Could he be experimenting for the main, perhaps, Walker?
I think he just bonsai'd it and overshot it.
Spoken like a racer. There's the Mears gang. They're trying to reel in Ivan, but they're not going to do it. Roger Sr. giving it everything he can. Here comes the final turn. Ivan, the Ironman Stewart, does it again. Heat race number 2 belongs to him. It'll be Roger Mears Sr. in second. Junior will cross the line in third. So that's the way it shapes up in heat race number 2. Let's make our way down to victory lane. Trackside announcer Joe Benson has our winner.
The only way they can pass you is when you're sitting here in the winner's circle.
Well, I tell you what, Joe, we screwed up in the first race, to be honest. It's a mistake of mine, get out in the mud and let them guys get up alongside of me, but that won't happen again. Look out for this Toyota in the winner's circle tonight.
You were following Jerry Whelchel at the beginning. He's a rookie in the trucks, more or less. Were you watching him for any mistake he made, or did you plan on passing him down here?
Well, I really figured that we were going quicker than Jerry. Jerry's an excellent driver. He's just not familiar with the trucks and just kind of watching, picking my spot to get by him, and it worked out pretty well.
Jerry Whelchel, a costume change. You just got out of your Grand National Sport Truck ride. Now you're going into your Super 1600. You tired?
No, not yet. I don't think so. We're going to have an intermission, and then I'll race the buggy. Right after the buggy, though, I get right in the truck, so I'll have a good sweat going. I'm going to get the start on the front row, and I think I'm going to really learn a lesson in the next truck race.
All right, good luck out there. Costume change is nothing new to Vegas.
No, and it's nothing new to me. I can handle it.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Waiting for round 4 at the Silver Bowl Grand National Sport Truck main event. 12 laps of fender banging excitement. On the front row, it's going to be Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolet against the Ford of Rob MacCachren. Roger Mears Nissan against Rick Johnson's Chevrolet in row 2. Then the Toyotas of Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart. And in row number 4, Roger Mears Jr.'s Nissan alongside of Jerry Whelchel in the Ford. So there is the starting grid. We are ready. 12 laps of exciting racing, and the points battle is close. So close coming into this action. Right now, Ivan Stewart has the points lead by 9 over his Toyota teammate, 169 to 160. Ivan over Rod Millen, and then third place is Rick Johnson with 157, and only 19 points separate the top 5 drivers. The green flag flies. We are underway. Jimmy Johnson has a big opportunity starting on the front row.
3 abreast down the back straightaway.
Little bit of contact. So far, everybody makes it through. It is Jimmy Johnson, Rob MacCachren, Roger Mears Sr., and Rod Millen. That's your top 4. No. Yeah. Jimmy Johnson goes all the way over.
And Rob MacCachren's the one that bumped him.
We're going to have a full course yellow, and we did not finish the first lap, so we will re-rack it.
Re-rack it.
All right, let's take another look at it, see if we can see what happens.
Boom, boom. See, he got hit.
Well, he did get hit.
I saw him get hit. Spun him around, and it car hooked, and over he went.
Well,
this car goes back in the front line.
Gets a new license.
So the green flag flies, and the main event is underway. Down through turn number 1. Great opportunity for Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolet. Oh, 3 abreast. They're going to punch him, and he goes over. Now, Rob MacCachren, no doubt about it, got into him, Walker.
Yeah. This is a rerun just like before.
And it is going to bring out, yes, another full course yellow here in Las Vegas. And there may be penalties handed out on this one.
Well, you know, they got to make the left turn, so we got to get on the brakes here.
Spoken like a driver. Take us through it.
We're coming down the straightaway, and everybody knows you got to make the left turn. He starts into it, and it is bang, bang. It's just like...
I'm telling you guys.
We're not bowling for dollars here.
Well, let's reset this for you because rough driving has handed down a penalty to Rob MacCachren, which just kills Ford's chances. Instead of being on the front row, he'll start in the very back. There is Jimmy Johnson, battered but not beaten. He gets his pole position back.
Well, I still have to wonder how many times can he roll over and still maintain a calmness and cool collective driver that it takes to drive here.
Well, we're going to find out because we're going to re-rack them and get ready to go racing one more time. Green flag flies once again. Jimmy Johnson, that is Roger Mears, and Rick Johnson outside. Great
happened to his car.
Roger Mears ducks on the inside, pulls his way through. Good clean racing there. So now Rod Millen trying to take advantage also, and here comes Johnson back. Oh, and he runs into the hydro barrier, and Rod Millen may be the one who wins in this battle. Millen in the Toyota. So it's Millen first in the Toyota. The Chevrolet of Jimmy Johnson second. Roger Mears Sr. in the Nissan third. And Rick Johnson's got a problem in fourth. His hood's flapping up into his face.
And that can cause a black flag if that continues to happen. Watch.
Right now, these guys are swapping positions back and forth for second place between Mears and Jimmy Johnson, and Rod Millen is just walking away from everybody. Look at this. These guys are beating on each other.
Well, that's always what happens when you get a little war going in the back. The leader just got a clean track, and he just drives away.
And again, you're looking at Millen, but the war is going on at second, third, and fourth. Here comes Roger Jr. trying to go on the outside of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson on the bicycle. He's going to lose the position. Can he hold on to it? He's coming back strong. Drag race down into turn 2. Jimmy Johnson, Roger Mears Jr. Johnson's going to hold the position.
Well, he made a perfect turn.
So now it's Roger Mears Sr. Jimmy Johnson second, Roger Jr. third, if he can hold that spot. Don't go away. The Grand National Sport Truck finale. We'll conclude it right after this. It's the Grand National Sport Truck main event. Las Vegas, the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl, round number 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Championship Series. Right now, Rod Millen still out front and doing very well. Now,
here's something we need to take notice. Look at where Rob MacCachren is. I mean, he's right up here banging and working on his third spot already.
Now we're watching, there's MacCachren and Jimmy Johnson. The black flag flying again. You saw it there for Roger Mears Sr. And there are sparks on that brake, but that's
natural. That's brake, just a real hard brake pad when brakes are applied. They all spark.
Well, let's set this for you. Rod Millen is first. Roger Mears is second, but he's been black flag. Third is Jimmy Johnson. Fourth is Rob MacCachren. Fifth is Roger Mears Jr. Sixth is Jerry Whelchel. Seventh is Ivan Stewart. He's having a horrible race. And eighth is Rick Johnson. He just went a lap down.
Yeah, he did. Something's wrong with his car. It's not even hardly running.
And they give the black flag one more time inside with Rod Millen.
MacCachren and Jimmy are having a little bit of tussle again.
Yeah, the battle for third place right now is really going after it. There you see it. Rick Johnson is out of the way, and Rick Johnson moves over nicely. Here comes Jimmy Johnson holding on to the position. Rod Millen still first. Roger Mears ignoring the black flag. I'm sure he's going to have a little bit of a conversation with Mickey Thompson officials. Here it comes one more time, the black flag. Oh,
Millen. Rob MacCachren gets up on the bicycle. Millen is running away with the event. Mears has got a comfortable second place, but they have black flagged him. But he will not acknowledge it.
Not only did they black flag him, they put his number on a board and stuck it out. They darn near threw it in the cab with him.
So Rod Millen, a few more laps is going to do it for him. He's going to take over the points lead in his quest for 3 straight Grand National Sport Truck Driving Championships. They've given up there, and they throw the black flag one more time at Roger Mears Sr. The battle, really the closest battle we've got is for third. You get an idea. There's the leader, Rod Millen. He has got total control of this race right now. Roger Mears will not stop. He'd rather fight this out in the boardroom later.
And Ricky Johnson's car has broke the shock absorbers off. It has no rear suspension. That's why he's just driving around the outside of the track. And it will be interesting to find out what in the world Roger did to get the black flag.
Boy, they
Here it is
at
again.
One more time. Here's the battle for third. Rob MacCachren gets around Jimmy Johnson. That's for third place. Should be second place if Roger Mears acknowledges the black flag. And I have a feeling Mteg officials will be setting him down for ignoring the black flag.
Certainly Roger's just burning some fuel right now because whatever position he finishes, they aren't going to award it to him.
Rod Millen has got a comfortable lead, a huge lead. Roger Mears still running second on the race course, but continually, every lap, gets a black flag. On board with Millen right there. And boy, he's making it look so comfortable. Now we swing out, you get the view from the front. What a great comeback for Rob MacCachren as we're watching the front view of Rod Millen. In fact, Millen's about ready to put another lap on Rick Johnson as he's just nursing it around. And Roger Mears is stopping on the race course. Mears has stopped on the race course. So now it will be Rod Millen taking the white flag right here. There is Mears dead in the middle of the race course. Millen first. Second place, Rob MacCachren. And boy, does he need a good run here. Third place will be Jimmy Johnson. Fourth is the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. And fifth is Jerry Whelchel. So a half lap remains for Rod Millen. He'll make it 2 in a row. Remember, Ivan Stewart won here last year, has won 3 out of the 5 years that we've been coming here. And it will be 2 victories in a row for Rod Millen after a dismal start. He was 7th after the first round of racing, and now he's going to have the points lead. It is Rod Millen first. It'll be Rob MacCachren second, and a good finish for Jimmy Johnson in third.
Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner in Victory Lane. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Round number 4 is now in the record books, and this is the move that opened the door for Rod Millen. While Jimmy Johnson and Roger Mears Sr. tangled, watch Millen as he slingshots past both of them, and from this point on the race course, it was his for the taking. So with the win, Rod Millen takes a 10-point lead in the driver's point standings over his Toyota teammate Ivan Stewart. Rob MacCachren is third, Rick Johnson in fourth. Then rounding out the standings, Roger Mears Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and Jerry Whelchel. Now, the effects on the Manufacturers' Championship, Toyota has a 396 to 348 lead over Ford. Let's go down to Victory Lane and Joe Benson.
And how come your truck was the only one that came out perfectly clean at the end with no dents?
Well, because I drive a Toyota, I think. No, but seriously, you know, the truck worked fabulous. I could place it where I wanted to. Sort of run it at a comfortable pace, so I was real happy. And, you know, I had the best tires out there, the BFG trails, and everything worked out just fabulous.
You just had to make sure you kept it perfectly in line all the way around and watched out for any refuse on the track.
Exactly. You know, I saw some of the other guys having problems out there. You know, I got a great start. You know, the truck just was able to maneuver in and out of those other guys, and, you know, we stuck it to them tonight.
This is going to help your championship point run quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly helped a lot from trailing at the beginning of the year. I would say we're up in the top 2 or 3, which is great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Enjoyed.
Well, Rod, I got a clue for you. You are number 1. Take our word for it. And as we take a look at some of the highlights of tonight's action, let's remind you that round number 5, you'll be able to see it from Salt Lake City. We'll be on ESPN Tuesday, July 12th.
10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And if you want to join us for all the excitement, well, we'll be October 1st in Las Vegas one more time here at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl. And then Saturday, October 8th, the big finale. That'll be at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. We hope to see you at one of those two locations. For Walker Evans, also Mike Anson down pit side, and a special thanks to Joe Benson at Victory Circle, I'm Marty Reed. We appreciate you joining us for round number 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. We'll see you next time we go off-road racing on ESPN. It's round number 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. And the question coming into tonight's action is, what is it going to take to catch Team Toyota and this man, Rod Millen? For Rob MacCachren and the Ford Rough Rider team, the time is now.
Well, the Fords are running really good this weekend. What we got to do is beat them in the heat races and gain more points than they do.
And as for Rick Johnson, tonight is a must-win situation.
It's do or die. We got to go out and run 100%. The Chevy truck was fast in practice. I got to go qualify fast, have good passing points in the heats, and win the main. It's do or die.
ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Salt Lake City, Utah. We're here for round number 5, the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with the legend himself, Walker Evans. We're glad to have you. And tonight, let's first take a look at the Drivers' Championship standings, because it has become a 4-driver race. Rod Millen on top with 193. Ivan Stewart 10 points behind in second. Then Rob MacCachren in third with 171, and Rick Johnson in fourth with 167. And tonight, a critical situation for those two guys in third and fourth.
It's a must situation for Rob and for Ricky. I'll tell you, they cannot run third and fourth. They have to run first and second. They have to put themselves up in front, or it's going to be all over. After all, there's only 2 more races in this series.
So basically, you're saying if they don't finish ahead of the Toyotas, they're out.
They've got to. They absolutely have to, Marty.
Well, Rob MacCachren made a bit of a statement in qualifying. He made it to the number 2 starting position right behind Roger Mears, so he starts out at least in heat race number 1 in front of those 2 Toyotas. But Ricky Johnson, he qualified 5th. Behind the 2 Toyotas. Now, the third member of our broadcast team, well, his name is Mike Anson. He's down pit side. Mike?
Thanks, Marty. Tonight, I'll be down in the pits here in the Grand National Truck area, taking a look with its special feature at what the Grand National crews do between races. Right now, back to you and Walker.
Well, thanks, Mike. You know, one of the interesting things about coming to Rice Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah, is the track itself. It's got one of the most unique features that we see on the circuit.
Well, it certainly does, Marty. We make predominantly right-hand turns, quite different than the rest of the track. And at the sweeper part of the track, the north end, is a banked course and allows the cars to come off of this turn with a great rate of speed. Across these doubles, right-hand turn, around the only left turn, across the double-doubles, and coming across to the finish line.
And if you get caught in rough driving by the committee that watches from upstairs, well, they can send you right there. The Triton penalty box. It costs you a minimum of 10 seconds, and that can cost you the race. Round 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Chevrolet trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Rancho Suspensions. As we get ready for racing action tonight, let's check the weather conditions. It's on the warm side, 91 degrees under partly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of rain. The winds are going to be the biggest factor, though, coming from the south at 15 to 20 miles an hour. And as the trucks begin to pull out, it's time now to get ready for Grand National Sport Truck action, heat race number 1. And let's set the starting grid for you. On the front row in the Nissan, it'll be Roger Mears, a great qualifying performance. Right alongside will be Rob MacCachren in the Ford Rough Rider. This is a definite critical situation for him. He's got a good starting position. There are the 2 Toyotas in row number 2. Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart, the teammates, will be right in front of Rick Johnson and Jimmy Johnson. That's the duo representing Chevy Thunder. Jerry Whelchel in the other Ford, and Roger in the Nissan round out the field. Green flag flies, and we are underway. And you can see the starter moving out of the way quickly. And, oh, what a shot by Rod Millen as he moves up on the inside. And Roger Mears has opened the door for him, heading down into turn number 2. And Mears goes up on the bicycle and has to get out of it. And, boy, that pole position has now turned into last place.
Well, it's a shame to get that car hiked up like that. He did a job of saving it. You know what? If he'd have rolled it over, on over, they'd have probably restarted the whole race.
That's true, so it ends up being a disadvantage. Now, let's set it for you. You got Rod Millen right there in your screen. He's come through turn 4 cleanly for the first time, and he's opened up about a 7-truck length lead over second place, Rob MacCachren in the Ford. Then in third place, it's Ivan Stewart in the Toyota and Ricky Johnson in the Chevrolet. And this is exactly what we were talking about before this race started, Walker, that Rob MacCachren, Ricky Johnson, they've got to get in front of those Toyotas.
Well, they certainly are working. They realize that. They're driving their hearts out. I mean, I just saw MacCachren make a heck of a move right there. Made the double-double really look good.
Down through this very treacherous rhythm section, MacCachren getting a little more aggressive through there, and he is closing the door on Rod Millen.
And look at Ricky Johnson puts it right into the side of Ivan Stewart.
Yeah, the battle for third is really starting to heat up. Stewart on the outside. There you see him on the left-hand portion of your screen. He manages to hold on to the position. We'll still have the same 4. It'll be Millen, MacCachren, and the battle for third between Ivan Stewart and Ricky Johnson.
Ricky Johnson is giving Ivan all he wants. I'll tell you, Ivan is driving hard.
What it's allowed Rob MacCachren. Oh, MacCachren on the bicycle, and he's going to go over. Full course yellow, and we'll slow things down and re-rack them. So there, another mistake, unfortunately, for Rob MacCachren. He couldn't save it. He got real aggressive. We talked about that entry into turn 4, and it did. It came to bite him.
It bit him, and it bit him good. Now it puts the Ford over, and it's definitely going to be out of contention for this one.
Okay, let's set it for you now. We're getting ready to go green again. It's Rod Millen, Ivan Stewart. The Toyotas run and 2. The Chevrolets of Rick and Jimmy Johnson 3 and 4. And on the restart, boy, a great shot by Rod Millen. He opens up about 2 truck lengths over his Toyota teammate down into turn 2. Rick Johnson gives a little love tap to Ivan Stewart as they go through 2. Ivan a little high over that set of jumps, and now into turn number 3, a hard 180-degree left-hander. Ricky Johnson trying to look inside of Ivan Stewart for second, can't do it. Will everybody get brave again? No. Staying a little on the calmer side down into turn number 4. On board now with Rod Millen. Boy, what a great view. Look at that banking as he comes through turn number 1.
Well, that sure allows a lot more speed, I'll tell you. That Toyota comes off there with a high rate of speed.
Down into turn number 2, the glare of the sun. That'll go away as the evening progresses. There's the look at third and fourth. That's the Chevrolet contingent, Rick and Jimmy Johnson. No relation. Back up front to the leaders. Rod Millen. Oh, Millen gets a little high, manages to make a nice recovery down into 4, and Ivan Stewart closes the gap. And another love tap from Rick Johnson on Ivan.
That's just to let Ivan know he's there.
So far, the top 4 have not changed since the rollover by Rob MacCachren, and MacCachren is still at the back of this pack. This is really going to hurt MacCachren in the points chase. Again, look at the way these trucks are getting sideways. This is one of the most difficult rhythm sections, both lengths of this track for these trucks.
Out of all the 5 tracks, this is definitely the toughest for the rhythm section. If the truck doesn't hit it absolutely perfect, the nose either goes to the sky or the bumper hooks into the dirt.
White flag lap. It's going to be a shootout for second place. Rick Johnson's got the inside line on Ivan Stewart. The battle is for second. Can Ricky Johnson take the position away? You've got Rod Millen, and Ricky has moved ahead of Ivan Stewart. Can he hold the position? He's got it. Great move by Rick Johnson to take over second. Now, not enough time to catch Rod Millen unless he makes a big mistake going into this final section. It's Millen first, Rick Johnson second, Ivan Stewart third, and Jimmy Johnson fourth. Oh, and Rod gets a little high, and he gets bumped by the number 2 of Ricky Johnson, but no damage done. The checkered flag will fall. Rod Millen first, Rick Johnson second, Ivan Stewart third, Jimmy Johnson will take home fourth. Let's go pit side now with Mike Anson. Mike?
We're down here in the Nelson & Nelson Racing pits with Chevrolet truck driver Ricky Johnson and American Racing Custom Wheels Jim Denninger. And we want to talk a little bit about wheels. It's one of the things that people tend to overlook, but it's one of the most important things in getting the power to the ground. Now, Rick, you're racing on a brand new wheel that American Racing has. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the new wheel that's come out by American Racing is this threefold why it's the best wheel on the track. First is that the beadlock is cast into the wheel, so we don't have to cut the wheel apart and weld it and do a lot of different things. When we get the wheel, it's consistent with size. We know we can count on that because in this racing, they measure the widths of the trucks, and if you're off by a 1/10, you're going to get disqualified. Second, whenever you have to weld a beadlock on, you take a chance of leaking air. And when you're trying to be consistent with your lap times and performance, if you lose a pound of air while you're out there, you could be chasing the chassis or something else. Third, the beadlock is cast into the wheel, so whenever you cut a wheel to weld a beadlock on, you take a chance of weakening that wheel. So there's 3 reasons why American Racing Wheels is the best wheel on the track.
All right, Jim, let me ask you, what does American Racing get from participating here in the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series?
Well, as you know, companies race for a lot of different reasons. We race as we can learn a lot about our wheels and a lot about how to improve our wheels out on the racetrack, and that translates into our regular wheels. You know, we can, when a vehicle like this, 3,800 pounds, jumps, lands on the front wheel, that's a heck of an impact, and we can learn a lot from that, and we can learn how to make improvements, and that's going to translate out into the street.
There you have it. What they learn on the track translates to a safer, better wheel for you out on the street.
Well, thanks, Mike. We're going to put those wheels to the test. Time now for heat number 2 in the Grand National Sport Trucks here at Rice Stadium. Great crowd on hand. Take a look now at the points. Rod Millen has opened up a 19-point margin over his teammate Ivan Stewart, and Ricky Johnson has moved ahead of Rob MacCachren into 3rd. And MacCachren, the big loser there, back at 177. There you see the rest of the 8-truck field. Now, as we get ready, let's set the starting grid for this race. Now, remember, it is inverted as of the results from heat race number 1. So, Rob MacCachren and Jerry Whelchel in the Ford Rough Riders will be on the front row. In row number 2, it'll be the 2 Nissans of Roger Mears Sr. and Jr. Sr. in the 5, Jr. in the 6. Then it'll be Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolet alongside Ivan Stewart in the Toyota. And then Rick Johnson, who finished 2nd in heat race number 1, will be alongside our winner of heat 1, Rod Millen. All right, as we get ready for the start of this race, Walker, we've talked about it so many times. This definitely now, Rob MacCachren with the pole has to win this heat race.
Well, definitely the pressure's on, and I'll tell you, if he ever drove a smooth race, now's the time to do it.
Bill Rickey waves the green flag, and we are underway with heat race number 2. Boy, Ron Millen got a great start all the way from the back. He's already picked off 3 vehicles. Millen just shot out of a cannon. He's up to 3rd already. Wow, that outside line has been fantastic for the number 1 of Rod Millen. He started dead last in this field.
Well, he's using the outside line, and it's just sticking. The Toyota is just moving out there.
Gets a little sideways now, and that allows Roger Mears Jr. to take over. Look at the onboard view. You can see him battling with Roger Mears Jr. for 3rd. He's now in 4th. Let's set it for you. It is Rob MacCachren well out in front of his teammate Jerry Whelchel. 3rd place, the battle you see right there. The number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. and the number 1 of Ivan Stewart. Guess who is dead last in this field right now? The number 2 of Ricky Johnson. He can't afford that.
He's one that needs those points just as bad as Rob MacCachren.
There is the Rough Rider, Rob MacCachren from Las Vegas, Nevada. Started his career parking cars at a valet at one of the casinos. He's now racing for his Drivers' Championship life. He needs this win.
Well, he's definitely not parking that Ford right now, Marty. He's on the gas. He's doing a good job. He's driving it smooth. No real chances, but there's no pressure on him.
And Jerry Whelchel now, team tactics. Oh, and Rod Millen gets on the hydro barrier. And that holds up teammate Ivan Stewart. Jimmy Johnson then gets side by side with Stewart. You see him walking away from you there. And it is still Rod MacCachren, then Jerry Whelchel, then the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. Millen manages to hold on to 4th. Stewart is 5th. Jimmy Johnson is 6th. Rick Johnson 7th. Roger Mears Sr. is dead last.
Every time I stood on the gas and I was on the hydro barrier, I wound up on the lid. He pulled it off.
Rod Millen definitely pulled it off. A nice move to recover and maintain his 4th position. There you saw MacCachren. There's Jerry Whelchel. Now, if you're Whelchel, you've got to make that Ford as wide as you can for your teammate.
Well, it looks like that's what he's doing, and he is doing a good job. I'll tell you, Roger Mears is trying to get by him. Junior is, that is.
I am really amazed that Rick Johnson has not been able to get around not only his teammate, as we're on board again with Rod Millen, but he can't get close to the Toyota. back from 3rd to 4th. The car in front of Rod Millen is the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. That is his next target. Got a little sideways over the rhythm section. Now, here we go down into that real tough entry into turn number 4. You mess this up, you go on your lid.
Well, as Rob MacCachren knows, he is being a little more cautious on that corner. There's no doubt about it.
That's what cost MacCachren so dearly back in heat race number 1. There is the battle. Oh, no! There's the door. It's open.
Yep.
And Whelchel loses the position. The number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. Now we'll see just how much horsepower Jr. can muster. And Rod Millen tries to run
down
inside.
in here and says, well, if you want to open the door, let me have some of it.
But Jerry Whelchel shuts it again, and now it's going to force Millen on the outside. And here comes Ivan on the inside. It's going to be a Toyota sandwich, and Ford's the meat.
But Ivan just put one right on Rod Millen right there.
So now let's set it for you. Rob MacCachren is running away. Just what he has to do. He's in first. Second place is Roger Mears Jr. Third place is Jerry Whelchel. Fourth is Ivan Stewart. Rod Millen has dropped back 2 positions.
Something I ought to add, too, is Roger Mears, something's gone wrong with his car. He can't make it get around the corner. He's got a flat tire on the left front. There's other problems, too.
The battle right now, you're on board with Rod Millen. Look at the view that Millen has as he gets pushed way to the outside. The white flag lap, Rob MacCachren, 1 lap to go. Junior is in second. Third is Jerry Whelchel. There goes 4th place, the battle between Ivan Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. The 5th place battle. And then 6th is a battle for Rod Millen and Rick Johnson. And boy, Johnson needs to get around those 2 Toyotas desperately.
Well, he made a daring move right down here. He jumped really high. I thought he was going to land right in the bed of Ivan.
Well, Ivan Stewart putting on a battle with Jerry Whelchel. There is your leader coming straight at you. Second place, Roger Mears Jr. The winner in a must-win situation and a pressure cooker, Rob MacCachren. Second place is going to be Roger Mears Jr. Here comes third. Jerry Whelchel holds on. Don't go away. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner, Rob MacCachren. Lake City for Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing. Let's go to pit lane. Mike Anson.
Rob MacCachren, you had to pull one out, and you did it.
Right, Ford truck ran really good tonight. First heat, we had a few little problems. Other than that, everything's going really good. Hopefully we get a good starting position here for the main event and put this thing in the winner's circle. We really want to put this Ford there and gain some points up on the Toyota. So everything's looking good tonight for the Venable Racing team.
That's it from the Ford pits. Marty, back to you.
Well, thanks, Mike. And, you know, it's always interesting to take the viewers behind the scenes and watch these crews work on these vehicles between rounds, Walker, because there's a lot that happens back in the pits.
Well, there certainly is. Each mechanic has his area of this truck to look at. Here we are looking at some suspension, making sure nothing is loose, nothing is broke. After all, this truck was put through a heck of a punishment just moments ago.
Checking the tire there to see if there's any cuts that would indicate some rubbing from either the body or some suspension pieces. And again, going over this side of the vehicle as well, looking for any sharp edges or anything that is loose.
Well, here we are under the hood. Now we're taking a look around under the suspension area near the drive shaft, just making sure it's ready to go again.
Now, every single nut and bolt on this machine is retightened, correct?
Well, they certainly are at least checked. Here we got the drive shaft off, which indicates to me we're going to be making a gear change, perhaps.
And again, going through each part of the suspension, making sure everything's tightened down as they move from one side of the vehicle to the other. Takes about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And boy, when there has to be a major change like a complete motor, these guys are really scrambling. Our camera wouldn't even be close to that because they'd be afraid of getting run over.
Well, you know what happens in the afternoon? The track gets a little more tackier, the sun goes down, the weather changes, and look at here, we are making a gear ratio change.
And then that leads to changing the groove on the tires. Looks like they're taking out some side bites.
Well, it certainly does. They don't want that car to hike up.
So the cutter there, actually a very hot device. You don't want to get your fingers on it. Can take them right off. And now as they finish up work on the Ford, the beautiful Capitol building, the state of Utah. We're in Salt Lake City for round number 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Marty Reed, Walker Evans back with you, and the final grid positions for the Grand National Sport Trucks have been set. And, oh, what an advantage for Rick and Rob.
Well, they're definitely right where they need to be, up front. Now, they've got to stay up front. After all, those points are ever important for them tonight.
Let's take a look at the starting grid. for the 12-lap main event. On the front row, it'll be the Mears gang. Roger Jr. alongside his father, Roger Sr. In row 2, Rick Johnson, Rob MacCachren. They have to be right where they are because they're in front of row number 3, the 2 Toyotas of Ivan Stewart and Rod Millen. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Whelchel round out the field. Now let's take a look at the GRAN National Sport Truck point standings. Rod Millen on top of his teammate by 15. A must-win situation for Rob MacCachren and Rick Johnson in 3rd and 4th. There is the list, 5th through 8th. As we're ready to go racing, we're going to sit back and let you watch this first turn. The race is on, and it is now up. And again, Rod Millen on the outside, Walker, is trying to make that lunge from the 3rd row all the way back, and he gets driven into the hydro barrier.
That's right, and that's how you lose tires and they're unable to finish a main event when you get driven into the barriers like that.
So you're saying he needs to be... Oh, and Rick Johnson gets spun around. Oh, what a disaster for Chevrolet and Rick Johnson.
Well, it certainly is. He did not need that. Now he's got to back up. He's going to come out of here dead last.
That is Roger Mears Jr., and he is shot out like a cannon. Ivan Stewart is in 2nd. 3rd is Jimmy Johnson. Roger Sr. is in 4th. And then the battle for 5th is between Rod Millen, and he has just moved in front of Rob MacCachren.
And we have seen Roger Mears sit on the pole and drive away in a lot of these races already and win these main events in this season.
And Junior, the problem with Junior today has been his truck has been misfiring badly. They must have found something because he is doing a superb job. Now, Ivan Stewart, there you saw the battle for 2nd place. Stewart pulls his way past the youngster, Jimmy Johnson. You're on board with Rod Millen. Millen is currently running in 5th.
And we've got a penalty. Somebody's going to the penalty box. I don't know if it's Jimmy or if it was Ivan.
And Ivan and Jimmy get into each other again.
So we got, watch this.
There is a penalty. I think it's going to be on Ivan Stewart. I don't think he did not respond to it. We'll keep our eyes on this. You're on board with Rod Millen. That is Roger Sr. right in front. There's your leader, Roger Mears Jr. Now, he has got a huge lead. There's nobody that's going to catch him unless we get a full course yellow or he breaks. Roger Mears Sr. is now 2nd. Rod Millen has moved to 3rd. 4th is Rob MacCachren. And Ivan Stewart has been given the penalty flag.
This time he probably saw it. So we'll see if he pulls into the penalty box.
So right now, the 2 Nissans are running 1-2, and Junior is well out in front.
Yep, he's headed
Ivan Stewart is heading for the penalty box. The Triton penalty box is right there. A 5 count. He loses about 3 positions. He's dead last.
Well, he's dead last.
So now Iron Man Ivan Stewart has got to work his way back. The battle that is really interesting now is for 3rd place on the racetrack, Rod Millen. There comes Ivan past Jerry Whelchel. Rod Millen is holding off Rob MacCachren. Meanwhile,
I think there's a right front flat on Whelchel's little Ford.
This is your leader, Roger Mears Jr. Now, he has had just an abysmal season. I mean, he is currently 6th in the points with 163. This would be such a turnaround for him.
Let me make a statement right now that they're fighting so hard in the backfield that Roger Jr. is even having his own way on the track. You notice that? Both Bud trucks are just right out there driving their own type racing.
Yeah, right now the battle, there it is for 3rd place. It is Rod Millen, then Rob MacCachren, and then Jimmy Johnson. Those guys have been leaning on each other hard. It has allowed the 2 Mears, Junior and Senior, to run away and sort of get a hide on, especially Junior. He is long gone, and Senior has about a 3-truck length lead. Don't go anywhere. We'll take you to the checker flag right after this. Marty Reed, Walker Evans, and Mike Anson with you at Rice Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah. We're winding the laps down here in Grand National main event action. There is Roger Mears Sr. He is 2nd. There is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Oh, it's tightened up. They sort of reeled in Roger Sr. Millen gets a love tap from MacCachren.
I don't know if he wanted it.
Boy, that treacherous entry into turn 4. They all make it through safely one more time. We'll tell you, as you watch this battle, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Oh, and Jimmy Johnson is inside of Rob MacCachren.
What a move Jimmy has put on Rob MacCachren. Now, if he can just make it stick, hold it on the... And he has.
So now there is second place, Roger Mears Sr., then Rod Millen, then Jimmy Johnson is fourth, fifth is Rob MacCachren, sixth is Rick Johnson, and seventh is Ivan Stewart. There's Jimmy Johnson and Rob MacCachren. That's third and fourth. Rod Millen has now opened up a sizable lead over Jimmy Johnson. So it is a huge runaway for Roger Mears Jr. Sr. is second. There's Rod Millen. If Millen gets ahead of Roger Mears Sr., and where Rob MacCachren and Rick Johnson are right now, he has put almost a virtual stranglehold on the points championship.
On it, yes. If he gets by Roger, yes, he's about got a lock on it.
Here is the battle.
War.
Look at Rob MacCachren coming down on Jimmy Johnson. Oh, now we're back over to Rod Millen. There is the best battle. Oh, and MacCachren gets into the hydro barrier. That's going to cost him. He loses about 5 truck lengths.
Well, Jimmy and Rob MacCachren are duking it out and banging their cars together, and everybody's just really running away. And Roger gets sideways, allowing Millen to pull right down on him.
There's your leader, Roger Mears Jr. No full course yellows. That's the best news that he could have had. He has driven a spectacular race. Second and third is still Roger Mears Sr.
And something has just blown up on Roger's car.
Senior has lost his second motor.
Yeah.
He lost one in practice, and he has lost his second motor. That means Rod Millen is now in second place.
And look at the points that he has gained tonight.
Ivan Stewart is well back. Rob, let's set it for you. It is Roger Mears Jr. first. The white flag is coming out. There is Jimmy Johnson and Rob MacCachren duking it out. Second place is Rod Millen. Third is Jimmy Johnson. Soon to be MacCachren. MacCachren's moved into third. Then it is Ivan Stewart in fifth and Ricky Johnson in sixth. And 3 abreast down the front straightaway.
Jimmy, I think, won it.
Jimmy Johnson regains third place.
He came across, he pulled it out. Now if he can just make this corner.
Boy, what a tangle here.
War.
Here comes your winner to the finish line.
There.
Roger Mears Jr. takes the win. Now the battle for third. Second place is going to be Rod Millen. It is third place to Jimmy Johnson right now. Fourth to Rob MacCachren. Fifth to Ivan Stewart. Sixth to Ricky Johnson. This is all important points. MacCachren gets tough from behind. And it will be Stewart finishing in front of Rick Johnson. So a big win there for Roger Mears Jr. as he pulls into victory lane. Rod Millen, what a blow to both Rob MacCachren and Ricky Johnson. Stay with us. We'll talk to our winner after this. The main event of round number 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series is over. Let's go trackside with Joe Benson. Joe?
Woo! This is great.
Say it's not a birthday present if you have to work that hard for it.
Dad was back there making it easy for me. I thought we were going to get a 1-2, but didn't happen.
So you had to watch to make sure nothing went wrong with what you were driving and didn't run anything along the way.
That's right. There's a lot of stuff to run into out there.
It was a pretty tight race behind you, too. A lot of jamming going on. You don't think about that, though, when you're leading, do you?
Well, you do, as long as you can watch them down the back straightaway while you're going the other way.
You think your stock car driving helped you out any in that bank turn?
Oh, yeah.
Hang the tail end out like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, thank goodness for all you Salt Lake citizens. Glad you're here, and I was glad to pull one off for you.
Well, congratulations, Roger Mears Jr. And as we look at the driver standings, you can see it's now basically a 2-man battle between Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart. So for Walker Evans and Mike Anson, I'm Marty Reed as we take a look down through the 5th through 8th positions. Thanks for joining us on round number 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. There you see the Manufacturers Points Championship. Toyota, not a mathematical lock, but they're in control with 2 races left. If you're going to be with us at October 1st in Sam Boyd's Silver Bowl, that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. We want to see you there. And then round number 7, October 8th, a week later at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Round 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series has been brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. This has been a presentation of Mars Incorporated in association with ESPN. Las Vegas at night, and we're ready to go off-road racing. It's round number 6 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and if you were with us back in April, you know how exciting the action can be here in the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl, but boy, do we have a surprise for you. But first, let's talk about the points. The championship in Grand National Sport Trucks is still at stake. 3 drivers have a legitimate shot at the crown. Leading the pack, Toyota's Rod Millen. He's got 255 points. Just 32 points behind is his Toyota teammate, Ivan Stewart. And the third man in this triumvirate, Rob MacCachren in the Ford, 211 points. He still has a shot at the title, but he's going to have to come up big tonight here in his hometown. Now, we talked about the track. Totally different than what we saw back in April. Much more complex, some dramatic jumps, in fact, including the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. For more, let's go to my partner. Here's Walker Evans.
Thank you, Marty. Let's start at the start-finish line and go around this track. The first thing the driver's going to see is a 180 turn. Very smooth, high speed. Down the backside, one major jump to contend with, and a hard left-hand turn. Back over a set of jumps, and then a right-hand turn coming right back the same direction they came from. And then, as they exit this track, they've got the big decision. Do I take the A lane or the B lane? As they come down the A lane, they've got to deal with this 3-foot jump. They're going to come up this 3-foot jump, and they're going to land some 25 feet down here on the stadium floor. This is very reminiscent of the LA Coliseum. After all, Mickey Thompson had us doing that years and years ago, and it was very exciting. Now, Danny Thompson has brought it right to Las Vegas. The drivers and the fans are going to love it.
Thanks, Walker. Time for you to make your way back up top here. We're ready to go racing. But before we do that, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team down in pit lane. Here's Mike Anson. Mike?
Thanks, Marty. I'll be down in the pits all evening covering all the action. Earlier, I got a chance to talk to some of the drivers to see what they thought about the new track configuration and the new Chevy Thunder Super Jump.
Well, the track configuration is dynamite. We go outside the stadium and we race out in the parking lot and then come back in. And the best part of it is the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. Jumping back into the stadium, we go over the football locker room, and when you're up in the air, the stadium floor disappears below you and the competition. So when you come down, you don't know if you're going to be on top of a driver or right behind him. But I doubt you're ever going to pass somebody in the air just going over the top of them. But the track is dynamite, and our trucks are working great.
It's great. You know, it's much more challenging. It's got to be great for the fans because it's certainly great for the drivers. And I like this sort of racing.
It's really a rush coming up to the jump that throws us into the stadium because all you see is sky, stands, and then you're on the ground and foot to the floor.
Welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. We're here for the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Let's take a look at the weather conditions. Absolutely perfect here at Sam Boyd Stadium. 75, a nice breeze, about 10 miles an hour coming from the east, and not a chance of rain tonight. And as we get ready for heat race number 1, you see the trucks pulling out. It's an all Chevrolet front row. Mike Anson has more from the pits.
I'm down in the Chevy pits, and I want to tell you, they're on a roll. They're guys 1 and 2 tonight. I'm talking to Glenn Maddox, who's the manager of motorsports marketing for Chevrolet. You got to be happy 1 and 2.
We're absolutely thrilled to death. We've got Jimmy out in front. Rick Johnson's right behind him, 1 and 2. We've had great qualifying, great practice. We're just ready to go out there and compete. And we're going to have a new addition here. Mickey Thompson has come in with the new Chevy Thunder Super Jump. It's going to be a fantastic evening of racing.
Tell us a little bit about what you learned here on the racetrack, how that translates to the cars that you and I drive on the street.
When you take the development of the technology that goes into these automobiles that we race, these trucks, and we take that technology once it's developed, and we use that actually to transfer to the showroom floor. And by that, I mean we use that technology in the development of our products that we build and sell through our Chevrolet dealers around the world.
There you have it. What they learn on the racetrack ends up in the cars that you and I drive on the street. Marty, Walker, back to you.
Ready now for Grand National Sport Truck Heat Race number 1. Let's set the starting grid for you. On the front row, it is Chevy Thunder. Jimmy Johnson is pole position. Rick Johnson right alongside. Rod Millen and Rob MacCachren in row number 2. Ivan Stewart and Jerry Whelchel in row number 3. The green flag flies. Right through turns 1 and 2. Side-by-side action. Oh, and boy. Ivan Stewart, Rod
Rod Millen. Millen survives a hard hit from Jerry Whelchel as he is now in second place. Rob MacCachren falls all the way back to dead last as he got hung up on the hydro barrier. And now it is Jimmy Johnson first, Rod Millen second, Rick Johnson third. On the outside of Sam Boyd Stadium, here we go over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump the first time. Look at this.
And Jimmy Johnson took the A lane and he came out on top. And that was the lane that he favored all day long in practice and in qualifying today, Marty.
So one lap is down. Everybody survived the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. It is spectacular. Absolutely, telling you the truth, it goes right over top of the locker room here at Sam Boyd Stadium. Rod Millen trying to tighten things up, the battle, and now we're going to see who comes out of A and the B side.
Well, again, Jimmy took the A lane, and here comes Rod down the B lane. We're going to find out right now which one's the quickest.
Now, remember, Rod's got a little left-hander and a right-hander, and, oh, not just quite fast enough as he tucks in, but he's closer. He's right on his back bumper.
It looked like he might have gained about a good truck length on that maneuver there.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Jimmy Johnson is hooked up. This is the best I've seen him drive all year long, and he's been doing some, a little contact there, but he's really been hitting the apexes, getting a good hookup with the tires, and really getting the power down to the track.
Well, Jimmy is matured as a driver, I'll tell you. He steps out of that car cool, calm, and collect. I'm really impressed with watching him today.
Now we've got the A-B lane again on the outside of the stadium. It's not as well lit. The drivers have to battle those shadows as well. Who's going to make it? Here they come back together. Oh, this time Jimmy.
I'd say he gained a length or so.
Absolutely. Jimmy Johnson has pulled out about a length and a half over Rod Millen. Third place is Rick Johnson. Fourth place is Ivan Stewart. And the two Fords are well back. Oh, penalty box for the Triton penalty box for Rod Millen, and this is costly.
And it had to be right here on this 180 turn on the infield right here is what caused it.
So now that changes the complexion of this race and possibly the points championship. Remember, it's Rod Millen in first in the points, Ivan Stewart second. And right now, Ivan Stewart is in front as we are on board with Jimmy Johnson. There goes Jimmy, what will be the finish line through turns 1 and 2.
Well, I'll tell you, both Chevy Thunder trucks are right where they'd like to be right now. All they have to do is just keep it smooth, keep it running, and they're going to come up with a lot of points.
So there you are with the Jimmy Johnson. You got a great sound of that motor. Felt like we were right on board, literally.
I thought I was going to have to start driving for a minute, Marty.
Look at that shot as he comes over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. It's Jimmy Johnson in control of this race. The sparks flying off the rear, those are the brakes actually firing up there.
Very coarse brake pads, and that's what happens when you run the real coarse ones. They do spark.
Nothing to worry about, though. He's under control. Rick Johnson, a little sideways there. Ivan Stewart's in third place. Rod Millen is in fourth.
Well, you know, Marty, you touched on it for a moment. Here these trucks are out here in this bright, what you might well call it, sunlight. It's so bright on the track. Now they drive into the backfield back there. It's really a lot darker. Their eyes have to adjust. They have to make some necessary changes.
Well, you did this at the Los Angeles Coliseum when you'd go outside the peristyles. Tell us what it's really like.
Well, I'll tell you, as a driver's point of view, all of a sudden the lights go out. It's like driving through Baja. You're in a big main city, and boom, you're out in the outskirts. Your eyes have to take an adjustment. By that time, you're already back into the thing. It's very tough for these guys.
Well, right now, Jimmy Johnson doesn't seem to be having any problem as he is out in front. Now, he has won a heat race before this year. He has yet to win a main event this season for Chevy Thunder. Rick Johnson won the first two rounds. He finds himself in second place to his Chevy teammate as they head up into that back section of the race course. Here we come one more time. Boy, that is pretty.
Beautiful. And you could notice the shadows that we were talking about earlier, Mark.
White flag is out. One more lap to go.
There you get a great shot of Rick Johnson. He's trying to catch up. He's not going to do it. The only way Rick Johnson's going to have a chance is if his teammate literally takes a header.
And let's not talk about that.
I'll tell you, the way Jimmy has driven through practice and qualifying, it would surprise me if he'd make any mistakes tonight. He seems to just be in that zone.
He definitely was on a monorail when it come time to qualify today. Did everything perfect.
He stuck a number out there that literally stood everybody on their ear. Here he comes, the last time. Jimmy Johnson, the checkered flag. The 19-year-old sensation wins heat race number 1 here tonight at Sam Boyd Stadium. Second place to Rick Johnson. Third place goes to Ivan Stewart. Fourth place to Rod Millen.
More off-road racing excitement from Sam Boyd Stadium. Don't go anywhere.
We're in the pits with Jim White, who's the director of racing for the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group. And we all know the racing is rough and tumble, but there has to be a limit. And putting the limit on that is the Rough Driving Committee. Tell us about that committee.
Well, the Rough Driving Committee is made up of a bunch of ex-racers. They still race in different venues, but not with our racing any longer. They've all raced with us one time or another. They oversee all the classes that go on out there. They look for incidental or on-purpose type bumping, grinding, whatever you want to call it out there. And there's a penalty box, a Triton penalty box out there on the track that will pull them in there and put them in there for a 5-second count. Or if it's something that we didn't catch in time or they didn't catch in time, then we'll go ahead and put the penalty on after the race before the next heat race or main event.
How do the racers react to that? Normally they're probably all going to complain, but if everybody gets treated the same, in the end, don't they appreciate having the committee?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why the committee came about in the mid-'80s, I think it was, and it was just something to even out the racing. I mean, before it was just the trucks had come in, the cars had come in, there'd be no sheet metal left on them. They needed some kind of evening out there to really watch over it. Yeah, they all appreciate it. I mean, there's times that obviously they're not happy with the call, but after they think about it and it happens to one of their competitors, are happy.
Now, where does the committee sit and how are they in communication with you?
They sit in the same booth that the NFL instant replay would be, because that's where we have the cameras off the ESPN trucks are in there with the monitors, and they've got VCRs in there, and they can review tapes as they go throughout the night.
Generally, how quickly do they make a decision? It's really almost a snap decision. They can look at the tapes, but they've got to come up with it pretty quickly.
The sooner the better. I mean, the drivers and riders would much rather be penalized out there on the track, sending them to the penalty box, than doing it later on by their finishing positions. None of them are happy with it that way. So yeah, they need to make it right away as quick as possible, but if it's a marginal call, they'll go back after the race, they'll look at tapes, and then they will assess the penalty after that.
The racing is always fast and furious, but there are limits. Marty, Walker, back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Mike. We're getting ready now for Grand National Sport Trucks Heat Race number 2. You can see the pressure etched in the eyes of Rob MacCachren. Let's set the starting grid for you now for heat race number 2. Grand National Sport Trucks on the front row. It's all Ford. Rob MacCachren and Jerry Whelchel. Toyota on row 2. Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart. And Rick Johnson and Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolets in row number 3. We're inverted as of the result of the first heat race. That's why the Chevys are in the back. They finished 1-2. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. 30 points now separate Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart, first and second in the Drivers' Championship. So Ivan is cut into Rod's lead. And right now he is in front of his Toyota teammate and in second place overall. Trying to get around Jerry Whelchel, who's got the early lead. Rob MacCachren is side by side with the Iron Man.
The Iron Man just pulled out front, and he's taken the B lane.
First time down over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. Will it be? Yes, it will be the Ford of Jerry Whelchel, followed by Ivan Stewart's Toyota and the Ford of Rob MacCachren. Then in fourth place it is Rod Millen. Fifth place is Jimmy Johnson. Sixth place is Rick Johnson. Here's the battle as they head to turn 4. 180-degree right-hander. Whelchel gets a little wide, but Ivan cannot get the power down.
Looks like right now the track, after being re-groomed, Ivan, maybe some of these guys picked the wrong tire combination.
Well, it does look real slippery. They're not being able to stick on the pole like they should. And I just noticed that Ivan gave up that B lane and he's gone to the A lane. Here he comes. We're going to have a very close one right in here. Well, it's about stayed where they were.
So it is still Jerry Whelchel out front, Ivan Stewart second, Rob MacCachren in third. It is a Ford sandwich with the Toyota being the meat.
Well, I'll tell you, if Ivan can do anything about it, he's going to try to get it up front.
It seems like they're not getting the side bite that they did in the heat race number 1.
Well, you know that intermission, they went out there and they watered this track pretty dramatically. I saw a lot of water being put down.
Yeah, I don't think the guys that were grooving tires were quite ready for this. But it's the same for everybody, and it looks like everybody's having the same problem. Right now, here comes Jerry Whelchel. Whelchel doing a fine job as MacCachren almost got around Ivan Stewart for second place. And now it's side by side for second place down into turn number 3. And MacCachren forces his way through. Strong pass. Now can he hold it? Gets a little sideways. So now it is Jerry Whelchel, Rob MacCachren, Ivan Stewart, and Rod Millen, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rick Johnson is 5th. Jimmy Johnson is 6th.
And Ivan got a little bit eager, and his teammate just went by him.
And Rod Millen, in the quest for the Drivers' Championship, goes back out in front of Ivan Stewart over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump one more time. And here come the two Fords. Jerry Whelchel, this is the finest we've seen him drive. And here we are on board. Take a look at this view.
Oh, a little hike on it.
That was Rick Johnson getting up, and it cost him a position. You're on board with Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Marty, you're absolutely right. I've never seen Whelchel drive a truck as smooth as he's driving right now.
Jerry Whelchel, of course, a multi-time winner in Super 1600 competition, but this is the first time as he comes over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump one more time. This is the first time that he's been racing trucks on a regular basis. Stepped in when Danny Thompson retired to take over the reins of the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, and is doing a super job right now in this heat race. Look at the launch that he is getting over that double jump. Everybody's still close enough within striking distance. We'll have 2 laps remaining this time by. This is still anybody's race. Whelchel's got about a 3-truck length lead.
And that's over his own teammate.
Rod Millen and Jimmy Johnson has gotten around Ivan Stewart thanks to the Chevy Thunder Super Jump. He took the B lane and managed to get around the Ironman. So now it is Rick Johnson in fourth.
And Rick has just cut him out too, almost.
Ivan's got his hands full.
Ivan.
Ivan pulled his way.
He's going to the penalty box on that one.
Okay, you heard it. As we're on board with Jimmy Johnson.
Look at Ricky's.
Getting physical back there. Whoa, look how close we come to the wall.
Yeah.
While you're watching this, we'll let you know that Jerry Whelchel is still out there. White flag is out, and the penalty flag is coming out this time by.
I told you.
It is for Ivan Stewart.
You bet.
Ivan Stewart is going to get a penalty. Oh, and he's got into Rick Johnson. You see all that action back there? And Ivan ignores the penalty box flag. This is going to cost him after this race is over. We'll see what happens in the point situation. The battle back there is still continuing, and Jerry Whelchel is on his way to taking this heat race win. Jerry Whelchel over the jump one more time. Perfect. Rob MacCachren in second. Rod Millen will finish third. And fourth place will be Jimmy Johnson. Fifth will be Rick. And Ivan Stewart's going to finish dead last, so I don't know how much more they can penalize him.
In victory lane, Joe Benson's caught up with our winner.
Jerry Whelchel, congratulations.
Woo!
Third race out, heat race win. Thank you, Ford. BF Goodrich. Man, Rough Riders invincible. Woo!
Stadium off-road racing action continues from Sam Boyd. We're glad to have you with us. All right, it's time for the showdown in Grand National Sport Truck action. Let's set the starting grid for you here for the main event. In row number 1, it'll be Rick Johnson and Rob MacCachren. Row 2, Ivan Stewart and Rod Millen. And in row 3, Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Whelchel. Bill Rickey waves the green flag, and we are underway. Oh, and Ivan is up on the bicycle, and this is going to be deadly.
No, that's
Rod Millen. Pardon me, I forgot to stall number 4. It turns out to be number 1. So a big opportunity for Ivan Stewart and Rob MacCachren. Those are the guys that are trying to track him down in the points championship. Right now, it is Ricky Johnson in front of Ivan Stewart, and Rob MacCachren is 3rd. Jimmy Johnson is 4th. 5th place is Jerry Whelchel, and Rod Millen is last. What a turn of events this could be. Here we come over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump, and it will be Ricky Johnson, Ivan Stewart, and Jimmy Johnson has moved around Rob MacCachren.
Way from the back, I can't believe it.
Boy, he is hooked up. Jimmy won heat race number 1, and boy, look at the way he is getting around this track.
It's as though he owns this track tonight. Look at this.
And Rick Johnson tries to open up about 3 truck lengths on Ivan Stewart. Ivan launches kind of high there, but manages to hold on to it. Rick Johnson gets up on the bicycle outside the stadium. Back in front of this very responsive Las Vegas crowd. They are cheering every time these guys come over that jump.
Ricky lost a little ground there to Ivan.
Boy.
He can't afford to be doing that.
Ivan almost slid into him also. Managed to get control. On board now with Jimmy Johnson. Oh, up on the bicycle.
With Rick again.
Rick Johnson opens the door for Ivan Stewart. Jimmy Johnson right behind Rob MacCachren. This is a great 4-truck race. Jimmy Johnson and Rod Millen have lost contact. In fact, Millen is way back. I don't know if there's something wrong with the truck or not.
It is hard to say. I really don't know either.
Over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump, the race to the finish line, it will be the Chevrolet of
Look at this.
Rick Johnson. Oh, and Ivan gets up on the bicycle.
Right.
And Jimmy Johnson, oh, wouldn't
Make
this
it
be?
stick, Rick. I mean, Jimmy. And he did.
And Ivan's under attack from MacCachren. Oh, and Ivan noses it. Noses the truck into the corner, and now as you look at Rick Johnson, Ivan is dropped back to 4th.
I am telling you, that is the break the Chevrolets need. That stopped Ivan dead in his tracks. Did you notice that?
Yeah, you know, he stands over 6 feet tall. He might be about 5'11" right now. All right, it is all Chevrolet at this point.
They have to know that, too.
Rick Johnson,
Jimmy,
whoa.
Settle down. My land, he hit the wall, come ricocheting off.
Tore off the right quarter panel, but he's still running.
That's all right, as long as he's got tires.
And Jerry Whelchel got hung up on the hydro barrier, as did Rob MacCachren. The man who inherits 3rd place is Ivan Stewart, and Rod Millen is still dead last. So let's set this for you. You've got 2 Chevrolets up front. Rick Johnson in front of Jimmy Johnson. In 3rd place is Ivan Stewart in the Toyota. 4th place is Rob MacCachren in the Ford. His teammate Jerry Whelchel's 5th. And Rod Millen, our points leader, is dead last.
And Jimmy just hikes it in the little sweeper down here and lost another car lane.
There are the 2 Chevrolets. Oh, Rick Johnson gets a little wide, opens the door for teammate Jimmy. We got ourselves a race between the Chevy Thunder.
There's going to be a disappointed owner and boss if these 2 trucks take each other out.
John Nelson, the team owner. Ivan Stewart well back in 3rd.
Oh, and again, Rick Johnson, that's about the third time this lap that he's hacked it up.
Yeah.
Now, too much side bite, obviously. The track drying out?
Either that or he's anticipating it to slide. It goes over and hooks up against the dry cushion.
Okay. 4 laps. Look at the margin.
Yeah.
There are the two Chevrolets. Drag race. We're heading for turn 4. Oh, and they're into each other. Jimmy, it's got it. The 19-year-old upstart just takes the lead from his hero.
This has just been his night, or you might say day, in Las Vegas.
All right, this would be his first main event win if he can pull it off. And you want to talk about excitement?
Oh.
Don't lose your cameras, because this will be one heck of a celebration. 3 laps remaining.
I can remember when he won his first heat race, he says, "Party at my house." Well, guess where it'll be tonight if he wins this one.
On board with Jimmy. This is what it looks like out the back. And I'll tell you what, Walker, there is nothing Rick Johnson can do.
No. I no more got done saying that I thought Jimmy's car was kind of handling a little bad, and he takes Rick and just runs right on away from it.
This time by, here he comes. 2 laps remaining. All right, let's set it for you. Remember, Rick Johnson won our first 2 events at Anaheim and San Diego. Then Rod Millen won at Seattle and Las Vegas, and Roger Mears Jr. at Salt Lake City. This will be the first career win in Grand National Sport Truck action for Jimmy Johnson if he can negotiate the remaining half lap that he has remaining in this race. He has opened up a 10 truck length lead over teammate Rick Johnson, and it's another 10 truck length back to Ivan Stewart.
Just getting ready to say nobody's even threatening Rick.
Here we go. The white flag lap. One more time around.
That's a beautiful sign for Jimmy. He loves to see that.
He's got to know he can look out his left window and see the lead.
Yeah.
He's going to love Las Vegas and this super jump. This has just been an incredible day.
Yeah.
He took the pole, stood everybody on their ears. I mean, everybody just looked at their watches and said, what?
They couldn't believe it.
It was a tremendous heat race win. And he is about to take his first checkered flag. Watch this, folks. He is going to be one happy 19-year-old.
Right down here. He's going to spin it.
There he goes.
I knew it.
Second place to Rick Johnson. Third place, Ivan Stewart. Fourth place to Rob MacCachren. Fifth place to Rod Millen. Jerry Whelchel will bring it home in 6th.
Just about ready to put a wrap on round number 6 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series, but we've got to go to Victory Lane where we're going to see one heck of a celebration. First-time winner, Jimmy Johnson.
Man, it's a dream come true for me to end up here on victory stand after winning a main event for Chevrolet, and I tell you, I can't be more happy than anyone else in the entire world. Big thanks to Chris James, my mechanic, Pops Nelson, Johns Nelson, and the entire Nelson & Nelson crew. Big thanks to American Racing Wheels, BF Goodrich Tires, and let's win the last one, too.
Victory celebration between teammates. Jimmy Johnson on the left, Rick Johnson on the right, and let's take a look at the points, because what it does. Take a look at Jimmy Johnson in third place with 74 points, vaults into third behind Rod Millen and Ivan Stewart, ahead of Rick Johnson and Rob MacCachren. But any one of those 5 still has a mathematical shot. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford, and then Nissan. That's going to about do it for us this time. For Walker Evans and Mike Hansen, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for joining us here on the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Round 6 has been brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota.